Doing it for funsies. All right, it didn't break. Great success. We're live.
Yay.
Hello.
I still stand by my just honest surprise every time I'm like, okay, let's go live, and nothing just falls apart and breaks. I'm like, oh, good. It worked. So, all right, we're back with more Veil Breakers to continue our sweet ongoing campaign with our Neverwinter Nights. 2Ks, no copyright infringement. So, how's everyone doing?
Very good.
Good.
Yeah.
Still getting over my allergies, but a nice
Lame.
weekend away.
Good. I got cast on a spooky improv team.
We're on spooky
So-
team.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. And on the outro, I'll give information on that. Yeah, thank you so much. It felt really good. It's one of those things where you audition and you're like, great, I'm gonna audition the same day of the callbacks. Just save me some time. And then you get the callbacks, but everybody was so fucking talented. I was like, ooh, it's heating up in here, but you have to make everybody look good. And also, these are like friends. So, but you're all competition. So,
Frenemies.
but I got it. And I was like, at one point, I was like, I'm sure I didn't get it. I would have heard back. And then they're like, congratulations. I was like,
No.
freeze frame, hung in the air. Little, what do you call that? Airtime? No, hang time.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like they do that at the end of an episode of Family Guy, and they're like, "Hooray!" And then he's just stuck in the air, and he's like, "How do I get down?" He panics. Like, call a scientist. I don't know.
that happened to me. So,
The hype is what keeps you up. That's
yeah. The hype keeps
Just
you
science.
up, and then it's being batted down with a broom that brings you down. So
Oh,
yeah.
Good
see, I didn't know
Practice
the broom trick.
technique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Or
good life hack.
Grab a the other end of a towel and then pull. The problem is somebody has to be there to help you.
Yes.
So.
I love the visual though. That makes me very happy. Cool.
Pour one out for a poor friend of mine this weekend who was out golfing and thought he did something cool, so jumped off a bench and tried to heel click in the air, failed miserably, went ass over tea kettle. We kept saying, "My hand I think it's swollen." Everybody's like, "It just looks like your hand." And so he went off play golf, and finally he was like, "I think I have to leave. I don't feel good." He has a radial fracture.
Oh.
Yeah.
But, he went out in the best way possible.
Yeah.
Is that the
things
best
that
way
we-
possible?
I don't think that's true.
I mean,
My
of
question
all
is,
the
what is
Go ahead.
it that he did that was so cool?
I don't know. I've only heard the story of him giggling and falling while giggling and falling.
of all the ways to possibly injure yourself, doing it while you're just like getting hype and loving life is not terrible. I mean, it's still not good that you're injured, but
Mhm.
like
Or,
silver
or
lining.
God forbid, like
Sure.
getting injured in a very controlled environment like a gym. And not
Yeah.
like during the big game. You're just like, you're in a gym going, oh.
Golf course is a little bit interesting. Like, were you close to help if you needed it?
I don't think so. Yeah. I think, you got the golf cart. So
Yeah, that's fair. I was just thinking about like golf courses theoretically should be well equipped for stuff like I would expect a golf course to have like AEDs in places, right? Given people that play golf.
yeah. The older gentlemen who are drinking and
You know,
doing
that
physical
is-
exercise, yes.
What I meant, yes.
I'm sure
It's
people
okay.
crash
They're
golf
all
carts all the time.
6'3" and 215 pounds though, so it's fine.
Ageism.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure there is a very high ratio of people who are like, I'm going to golf, and then slam 9 beers and then crash their golf cart into a what do you call it? A tree or some shit. Sand pit, river,
A Trump 215. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
that was
he's
what I was going
215. Uh-huh.
So,
Yep.
solid.
Yeah, he's lost 30 pounds since the other time he reported a weight that seemed wrong. Yep. Oh.
But
Now, my friend is actually the director of theater at a college, so we were wondering if this would be more or less of an embarrassing story to theater kids that he managed to break himself while trying to do a heel click.
Mm.
Oh.
I feel like that's like
a hard-
having been a
that's a hard
theater
one.
kid for a long time, or theater kid for a long time. I feel like they just sort of go like, yeah, okay, that tracks.
on brand.
Yeah.
So
Like, of course you would. It wouldn't be doing something normal. It's going to be like doing the thing in between. You don't injure yourself doing the stuff that you're supposed to do. That's rehearsed.
So speaking of things you're supposed to do, we got a bunch of decisions that our adventuring party has to make, right? So
is
we
true.
find our heroes still in Waterdeep, having resolved both a lot of political and personal crises that have occurred, right? And trying to work their way further along their quest to stop a very, very just shitty dude turned lich named Zengi, right? Um, Having taken down the true big bad Chantel and putting her in a magical jail for the time being, right? Yeah, because she was honestly the true villain. Zengi was just a side quest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But now that she's gone, I guess you could take care of the evil lich who is seized Neverwinter.
He
Which
wants to kill a quarter of life on the planet. She stole our car.
She
Yeah.
stole our-
Chantel is personal.
She
Yeah.
tried to
True.
kill an entire theater troupe, a bunch of like
It's true.
actors and dancers,
yeah,
Purported friends.
she hates
Yeah.
the arts. It's terrible.
people who had names
Mm-hmm.
that
Facts.
are alive today.
Um. Yeah. So the next, I got nothing. The next question is because I felt responsible for that because I was like, I did try to do that, but that wasn't me, but it kind of was. Yeah, she sucks.
Mm,
What's kind of find our party having gotten re-equipped, had a good moment to sit down and spend some of the well-earned loot and resources that you've accumulated, and you find yourself back at Yusef's Manor, trying to figure out kind of what's next. All right. So what is next?
I believe what we had discussed is that next is to find Metzley,
Yes.
me.
who is your cousin.
Yes. Yes.
Who-
She is cousin in the way that like she is probably biologically at least like a number of cousin. But she was like raised in the same druidic order and therefore is cousin.
Is family.
Yes.
Family. Who somehow managed to get herself caught between dimensions while trying to be with us in a fight. And
I
so
mean,
we need to...
She has a lantern that we were trying to get. So yeah.
Which we were going to get so that we could use it to travel between dimensions. So if she has it and is trapped, doesn't make any sense.
I don't know how to use it. It may escape here.
I mean, my church locked it away for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but they did.
They did. Definitely for a reason.
So I believe the plan was to talk to Lady Alara and go to the Shadowfell to talk to the Raven Queen.
Yes, we were going to talk to Alora and use.
Excuse me, my house is on fire.
Okay, I was like, is that yours? Is that mine? Is that?
Hold, please.
So hopefully that's like popcorn in a microwave or something.
Hopefully.
That's Cat. Yes. Hello.
But I believe we got Bella a very nice sword that we're going to try to teach her how to use.
Mhm.
Yes, its name is Ebony.
Ooh, very
Oh.
nice. An elven thin blade is very pretty.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What did you want, belly scritches?
Okay,
So is the house burned down?
now we're good.
Okay.
Hi.
Now we had gone shopping for several things, several of which were come back in a couple of days to pick it up.
Yes. Those are all things you were able to swing by and grab, right?
Okay.
It was just a matter of
Yeah, what do you
it
mean?
would take them time to put all the enchantments on that you wanted for those custom made items.
Wait, did we? I'm sorry. Maybe this is my memory messing with me. Didn't we leave on a to be continued with Bella at a casino
You did.
talking to a
oops.
gangster?
Mhm.
Yeah, you did.
Uh,
So that was my fault for not looking at my notes.
I was wondering when that was going to become part of the recap.
Yeah, no, that was me just absolutely not reviewing my notes. Okay, so fun story. So before the stream started, usually what I will do is I'll pull up all my stuff, I'll check all my overlays, and then I will look at my notes and go, okay, cool, here's the thread of the plot. Instead, what I did was I pulled up OBS, and OBS said, hey, you've been logged out. And I was like, oh, cool, no problem. Hey, log me back in. And it goes, well, you need to verify to log back in. Okay, well, the code's been sent to this email. Cool. So I pull up the email that we use for that. And I'd also been logged out of that. And I was like, oh, fuck. And that is not linked to my device. So I was like, well, let me make some phone calls real quick. So that was like a 25-minute detour where I was like, okay, we're good. But I just had a slight panic because like, there's nothing I can do about this if I don't hear back from people.
We're just not streaming. So that was the sacrifice you made to the tech gods earlier so that the stream would work right.
Yes, that was the sacrifice. Was forgetting to look at my damn notes, which is bad on me. That's terrible. Let's rewind the clock back to a simpler time. Back to a time when you were all in a casino.
Yes, because we won't have the enchanted weapons at the casino.
Yes, I knew there's a reason for that. I was like, why did I put a day bear? Right, because I was going to spring some shit on the players. That's why.
Would you just sit in my lap, please?
So yeah.
I mean, if you ask nice.
God, damn brain. That's what I get from moving. I like skipping streams. So you all go to this casino, right? Because it's kind of in a not necessarily bad part of town, but like a more trouble-filled part of town, where like if you wanted to just get into some shenanigans, you very easily could find them without looking too hard. You work your way into this casino, and the instructions you were given by a note that was placed clandestinely into Bella's pocket was effectively a time and a location in a back room of this casino. And going in, the Valen and Odette and Itzel had kind of decided to stand guard outside. And as Bella walked in, there's an older gentleman, right? Kind of a interesting character in terms of just got a weird, like, kind of one eye kind of scarred or swollen shut, a bit of a hunch on his shoulders, right? And he's just staring at you as he's taken this coin that he was spinning on this poker table, snapped it in half and thrown it as the door was shut, which silenced the
that was
outside
our last
area.
Scene.
Yes.
Yes, very dramatic. Nicely done. Yes.
As I'm looking at my notes now and remembering what the hell I said.
Yes. Our parting shot was that snapped coin. Yes.
Mm-hmm. And he says to Bella,
he says,
got a message from Miss Nightshade if you want to make Chantel disappear. There are options.
I mean, wouldn't if the city plans to execute her, isn't that something they'll take care of?
Oh, sure. They'll do the justice process. They'll make sure she's tried and make sure the courts find her guilty with evidence, and that's all well and good. But if you want to expedite or ensure the process, there are alternatives.
Why would my wants play into this? If they think that they should just make Chantel disappear, why aren't they just making Chantel disappear? sounds like they have all the connections they need. I mean, why do I need to be giving the go-ahead?
I believe you're the one that mentioned to Miss Nightshade in passing that, well, she's extremely dangerous, and maybe this was not the right course of action to simply have her detained.
I didn't think she should be exiled because then she can just get up to her old tricks. I don't think I was arguing for her to be killed on the spot.
Well, if you don't think she's that dangerous, then we can just let the system take care of her. I'm sure that'll go fine. They don't have any major upcoming political or, military
Major
distractions in the
upcoming
future.
political,
I'm sure she won't
And-
be lost somewhere in the shuffle. I'm sure she won't.
For argument's sake, if I was to encourage this line of action, what would that require from me?
Waterdeep is in an interesting position right now. A lot of very complicated matters on the horizon, and it would be good to have a few people who'd be willing to help at the right time.
I couldn't possibly make this call without my team.
Friends. The word knows.
Friend sounds weak.
Partners in crime.
Partners
In
in
saving.
crime.
Partners in saving.
Partners
Heroes.
Friendship is
legally-
bullshit. Teamwork is magic.
That's a t-shirt right there.
Mhm.
I couldn't possibly make this
With
call
a
on my
dead My
own.
Little
But
Pony on it.
my
Sorry.
team should really be part of this conversation if that's something that is truly being considered.
That's up to you.
We're not in the room, so I can't like.
You're
insight-
doubly not in the room. You're busy getting romanced.
That's right. You want
True.
a very romantic
Oh
date.
right, this is still
Yeah.
that day. Okay, never
This
mind.
is still while you're on your date.
Fine. Yeah. All
I
I think you might have retired back to your room at this point.
Yes.
Mhm.
Is the implication though, like, just I don't know, maybe this is player being smart enough to pick that, like, there is at least a little bit of a like Chantel might get lost in the system and like somehow not end up contained or dead in what he's saying, because it sounds a little bit like maybe the implication is that she could just no maybe okay.
Hey, Bella, go ahead and roll knowledge history.
Ugh.
And then I'll rotate the camera back over to Val and Odette in a second.
Okay.
Is she going to the prison in Icewind Dale also?
I'm just saying, having a lich take over Neverwinter, I did it first. Somebody copied me. They made a movie.
Sorry, I'm trying to find where I could roll dice in Owlbear, but I guess that's not a thing.
You should be able to, actually. I should have enabled that, but for those who don't know, Owlbear updated, which is really cool, and they have a lot of new features. I have not found out where they all are, though. Also,
Yay!
fun side note, when I was originally planning this, I actually narrowed down my big bads between Zangi and Zastam. And decided that Zastam was too mainstream, and I went with Zangi instead, which was fun. So, fun fact.
Yeah, where are the dice now?
That's going to be an 18.
Okay, so you kind of picked up a lot of knowledge traveling around, right? And one of the things that's very true about Waterdeep is that it is a city of layers, right? There are a lot of factions, a lot of interests, and a lot of behind the scenes things happening. You've heard a lot of rumors and just odd whispers about like the council may not be the only ruling faction, right?
Yes.
There are, if one were to believe it, there is a idea that there are masked council members who actually run things from the shadow of Waterdeep, and who those people are and what they're capable of, that all varies based on like the hyperbole of the story. But there's been enough evidence over time to suggest that like while the council is very powerful, there may be other political forces at work in the city. Now, what that means in terms of this situation, who knows? It's very complex and layered, right? But also, as a reminder, since it's been a minute, you know that Ryan Nightshade, because you all had very good roles on a kind of her history. Uh, Open Secret is deeply associated with the Zentarum, which is the city's kind of like underground network. On paper, she's the leader of the city's merchant guild, which makes her a very powerful ally in terms of her financial capabilities and her ability to just get stuff very quickly. But there's more than that in the actual Zentarum, which is like black market and wet work stuff. Um, so not necessarily on the up and up, and not someone you would just want to make a council member to champion law and justice, but also a valuable ally. A lot of that to answer the question of there's a good possibility that if someone wanted her out for reasons, they could try to play systems against each other and factions against each other, or take advantage of the upcoming chaos and theoretically do that. Would it be easy? No. But possible.
Just to make sure I, the player, am not missing anything, since it's been a week. So my ask of like why specifically they're asking me when it's clear they could do this anytime they wanted. Did I miss anything about the answer? As far as it just being like, you're the one who said she's dangerous, so tell us how dangerous she is.
Effectively, you were overheard saying, no, she's so dangerous that like anything like exile or prison is probably not the right answer for her. Right.
I'm pretty sure I only argued against the idea of exile. I don't remember specifically saying she couldn't just be imprisoned.
Fair enough.
Like literally,
is...
I'm pretty sure I just was like, we need to know where she is. We can't just let her wander elsewhere because she will come back and she'll come back worse.
Correct.
Yes. So I just wanted to clarify because it's like I legitimately do not ever remember being someone who was arguing for her death. So I just wanted to double check my recollection of events.
Yeah.
Now, this is someone offering you a solution to a potential problem, right?
But what will it cost me? Because if this is just something they want done, they would just do it. If it's an offer to me, that means I owe them now.
Mark just kind of looks at you and just says, yeah, that's how these things work. Listen, I don't care particularly if Chantel lives or dies. You all seem very invested in that and her future. I do care about having friends. Or teammates, as you said. And in a potentially turbulent climate, it would be, well, valuable to network. So we can make a problem of yours go away, or not. You can roll the dice and hope everything goes well. And then you can help us with the problem in the future. If you need to, discuss with your friends.
I very much think I need to discuss with my friends. Yes, please. Should I call him back in now, or do you mean like I should leave and then like you'll be in touch with the whole like note in the pocket thing again, or something along those lines, or or like a don't call us, we'll call you, or like
No, nothing so dramatic. And he just flips a poker chip through the air over towards you, and you can just catch it. He says,
I don't know, can I catch it?
I'm going to assume you can.
It beans you in the forehead.
I got a 10. That's average. So we'll assume a poker chip I can like. Oh God,
Yeah, there's no finesse.
I don't
but
look
you
cool
catch
doing it, but I catch it.
Mm-hmm. And he says, "You have an answer? Simply press it twice, and we can talk."
Okay, that sounds good. So, do I just like walk out now, or is there like, do I need to be walked out? Like, how does this work? If they're drinking out
Door's
there,
there.
do we have time to like let them finish their drinks, or do you need us like gone?
Just points at the door, just shrugs.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry for overthinking it. Thanks. And she's just gonna turn and walk without saying anything else. And she's already thoroughly embarrassed herself.
Okay. Yeah, you open the door.
Fun fact, charisma is supposed to be Bella's high stat, and I don't
That's what
think
I
I
was just
actually
thinking.
play her that way at all. She's
there's a
charming in
Will.
how awkward she is. That's really what I'm hoping is coming across.
There's a couple ways to view charisma too. There's like obviously how well you speak and portray yourself, but there's also just the pure force of personality, beyond just like will, but like actual core strength of just this is who I am and what I want to project on the world. That's very helpful for like magic because you literally just force your will upon the world and change it, which is neat. But yeah, you open the door, Odette, Valen. Um, you can hear like the music from the casino, the just ambient noise of different machines in the background, the kind of low hum of people talking with the occasional shout or the curse word, right? And like just a little bit of like lingering kind of smoke in the air, right? As you're kind of standing guard this in this hallway. After about 2 minutes, Bella comes back out.
So how'd it go?
We have stuff to talk about, but we should probably not do it here. There's a a offer has been made, and I feel like we should discuss it somewhere else. Probably also after we get Itzel back from her date. But I don't want to spoil her date. It can wait until tomorrow morning, so we should probably just like go.
Okay.
Odette points at points at both of you and just starts to message. And she just goes like, Bella, are we in danger of anything? And then she like tries to like, I'm trying to like bring Valen into it, and I'm just going.
I
Dual
think
message finger
Bella,
guns.
because she's so used to Gray talking in her head, and she's always has the habit of responding aloud to Gray, is gonna start trying to respond to you aloud. So, just so you know, this is not her responding in her head. This is her talking when she goes, "Oh no, they're just like offering a right."
You can just straight up feel Gray just shaking his head. Like doesn't say anything. He's just like, ugh.
Do you have do you
Hey,
have
it
message?
turns out when you just keep killing and turning me into a clone over and over and over again, I get a little rusty in a lot of respects.
Should be getting better with
Are
time.
we,
But
are we in danger? Is this a dangerous? Do we need to go take care of this person? No.
Valen is going to look at the help around us and make sure that everybody is still kosher. Like the security isn't eyeballing us funny.
So
Nope.
Bella will finally like actually be like trying to talk in her head, be like, okay, is this working?
Is this thing on?
It's
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's just a slight whisper. A gift from the Book of Shadows. But
Gotcha. Okay.
nobody can hear us, so don't worry. But
Okay.
she's still like doing that, and just kind of going. But you're hearing her like just fine. And she's like,
Okay.
so you can respond. It's
Um.
Real,
So.
real
we can
quick
also just leave. Are we
to
in danger?
to put Valen at ease, as he kind of looks around, like you don't notice anything. Like there's still the guards you saw before. They're in their posts. There's been no massive demeanor shift. Business as usual is occurring. There's no like groups of people running towards you or like people aren't drawing weapons. They, you look over one of the guards, you make eye contact, just kind of like nods, goes back to
No
looking around
big
the room.
bruisers cracking their knuckles and glaring at us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, we're fine. They're just offering to kill Chantel in exchange for us owing them a favor later. But we can discuss that more fully when we get back to the house. Okay, let's go.
I don't understand the implication that we couldn't kill Chantel if we wanted to. Okay, let's just walk out.
Okay. As you're leaving,
Now I'm just legitimately confused. If I'd wanted her dead, she'd be dead. That's
it's like not hard.
We had it. We had a chance. I did not take it.
Mm-hmm. As you guys are leaving, go ahead and give me a perception check, please.
Of course.
God damn it, stay in the box.
it's cool.
Where's my other
Let's
roll?
just use the nat 20 on the perception check to leave a casino. Let's just get that out the way.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. Just get it out of the way. That was 21 for me, but it's certainly not a critical success.
Okay. Finally got my high walled box. That is going to be a 23.
Cool.
Nice.
You're all pretty perceptive, right? Both Odette and Bella, you don't notice any threats. It is business as usual as you kind of walk through the casino and head outside. And even as like I said, trouble filled as this side of town could be, like people are partying and just out about doing nighttime shenanigans, but nobody's like eyeing you up as a potential like target or problem that you ID, right? Valen, you kind of see this same thing, but you cannot shake the feeling that you are being watched. It's not in the casino, but you start heading out into the city and walking through town, and like just there's like something's kind of nagging at the back of your mind, and like you kind of look around, like look behind you a couple times because like you swear you're expecting to see somebody lurking in the shadows and you don't, but like just the hairs in the back of your neck are kind of standing up.
As reflex, he would turn on Divine Sense. Just
Okay.
don't know if it's going to make any difference, but that's just what he would do.
Oh man.
He's got the alert feat, so he can't be surprised, but he is very paranoid individual.
Given the just sheer volume of Neverwinter, it's 60 feet. Right?
I was going to say, yeah, with this,
sorry,
with
Waterdeep.
this city, with the city, it's 60 feet. Celestial, fiend, or undead.
No fae.
Nope.
Not for that
And
one.
and any place or object which is consecrated or desecrated.
You do ping on. They're kind of just slightly out of your range, but you kind of get like a sense still of like some celestial and some fiendish energy. It seems like low tier, right? You've been around demons at this point. Like those things ping hard. This is like, I don't know, there may be some people with celestial or fiendish heritage in the city around you, but like nothing that like lights up your danger scales.
No immediate red flags. Okay.
Yeah.
Just make it off the cuff remark. Does anybody else feel like we're being watched?
No.
And I would say that since Valen has experience as a bodyguard, he's probably not anxiously glancing around. He's probably just trying to stay nonchalant.
Oh, that's something I can clarify. The tieflings the pinging are definitely hot.
Thank you.
They're
Heat
not
levels,
dangerous, but they're
as
hot.
yes.
But they do want to talk to you.
Mhm. You have
Hot tieflings in your area
Yeah.
want to talk to you.
Yes.
They are
So-
they're very single.
Yes.
So-
Healings, as we
So
establish.
single. And for
you
a
walk by
small nominal fee, they
They can make your Neverwinter night.
Oh,
That's good. You walk by a little bar / club called the Fire Pit, and you're just like, got a lot of divine sense
readings.
going off here.
Yeah.
So
So, just asking,
no,
does anybody else feel like we're being watched?
not any more than usual.
It's fair.
Odette just like casually glances about with her special eyes. So like she can see in light, she can see in darkness, she can see perfectly in magical darkness. But she just kind of like turns on that like soft awareness that like dancers and performers have, kind of keep track of everybody on stage so you don't like run into each other. And she just tries to like casually look about. Is there anybody like following us? I know we just did perception checks.
no, nobody's following you. It's weird. You've seen scenarios where you coordinate background, right? You have people moving across the stage and doing their part to kind of add life to the stage. You kind of get that vibe occasionally. Like you're not downtown where like everyone is suddenly doing some sort of coordinated nonsense, but every now and then you feel like a person crossing the street is an actor actually moving across the stage left, and it's a weird feeling. And then you like examine the person, and they don't look out of sorts, and they just kind of walk off into the night and do their own thing. But like, it's just an odd feeling.
Otis says there was I am getting the sense that as we walk through the city, there is almost a choreographed aspect to it. Not everybody, mind you, but it's like there are extras on the set. And Velen, you do not know this, but I scrutinized this person that Bella was meeting with. What is his name again?
Mark.
Good old Mark.
Good old Mark.
Mark. And she says, this Mark. And Mark is not what he seems. It is an act. It is Mark or whoever is underneath all of the costumes and makeup and whatever, the mannerisms. It is an act. He is playing a character of some sort. It's not who he truly is. It's very good. Scary good. But that is what I noticed. Perhaps these actors that are following us, perhaps they are playing their parts as well.
Well,
That would mean that there's that would mean that there's no ill will. They're actually on our side.
well, I mean, as much as you can consume that Rhea Nightshade is on our side.
So that's what this was about.
Yes, sorry. He was there on behalf of Rhea Nightshade, is who's like really making that offer with the whole favorite is Chantel thing.
Her I would trust.
I just can't shake the feeling that if she could do this at any time, why does she need us to give her the go-ahead?
It sounds like she really wants that favor.
I know, which
is odd because she should owe us. Kind of saved her life.
What could we possibly do that she would need to have us over a barrel for?
I wonder how many heroes she has on the payroll. Public heroes.
So she wants our help.
I
And,
I mean, it was very it was very much a like you'll sometime favor. It's always good to have friends. There was a lot of like not just coming out and saying it sort of way that he was delivering everything.
I
So you
see.
could just point one of these extras out to me. We could drag him down an alley. Like that's an option.
Oh,
Just throwing it out there.
Yes,
that
violence.
is.
Okay, but if
I
but
didn't
if
say we'd hurt him.
if they're as good of
Just want
actors
to talk.
as
The holy warrior.
Odette is
going,
saying,
let's just grab and beat up Ransom.
Chaotic good.
Yep.
if they're as good of actors as Odette is saying, I don't think they're gonna break from three random people like roughing them up a bit.
All right. Well, the important thing is that we know that someone is watching us, and we can be aware if something were to happen. If they are, in fact, keeping an eye on us to keep us safe, more power to them. If they have ill intentions, we are ready. Let's go talk to Itzel about her date.
Well, I mean, let's see if Itzel's back from her date.
Hmm?
That is it.
Maybe it was a
She,
very good date.
Odette seems very distracted, and she's looking at everybody super suspiciously now.
Just
But,
watching
sus-
passersby on the
sus.
street, just
her big violet eyes just kind of casting about. She
Just talking to every random person. I know your secrets.
Some woman just like clutches her purse and like crosses the street, like away, just leaves.
Question for you, DM. When were we at the tower? When were we at the arcane tower? Was that today, or was that yesterday?
That would have been also today. It would have been this morning.
All right. Odette like reaches for the Book of Shadows, and I imagine like a pale hand goes to it, and then there's like the weird whispering, and then she like pulls it away, and she says, "Ah, "If I had not used this earlier today, I can use the secrets of the books' power to listen to what other people are thinking." Bella, do you have this ability? In your travels, have you learned how to detect thoughts?
Oh, no. Sorry, I had to think about it because obviously there's a lot of stuff that like I didn't remember how to do, that I'm like slowly remembering how to do. But no, I don't think that's one of them. I'm pretty sure.
No, no trouble. I agree with Valen. We should take this into consideration, but I do not like being beheld to someone else just for doing something that we could probably do on our own, like if I'm completely honest, right?
I don't know. There seemed to also be the suggestion that now that she's there in holding, that like it's a whole bureaucratic process that certain groups could also maybe take advantage of to undermine and work within, because there's a lot of competing groups here in
Oh,
Deepwater.
and like allow her to escape or use her to their advantage?
Yeah, I think those were all implied to be options. Yes.
Hmm. We will.
Like cause chaos and just take advantage of the chaos to further their own stuff, or yes, use her specifically for part of whatever these people might have in mind. Like it sounds like some people just like when things aren't running well because it's easier to like get up to no good, versus some people, yes, would use her specifically, maybe.
If either one of you, now this is relevant, would like to make a knowledge history check, you're welcome to.
Of course.
It's kind of what Bella made earlier, but now that she's bringing it up with you guys, yeah.
Not fantastic.
rounding it off. There's the nat 1.
There we go.
I can only roll 2 numbers.
like me in bowling, I can either it's gutter balls or 1 or 2 strikes, and that's it.
Gutter ball spare, gutter ball spare, gutter. Yeah, that's what I do.
Tough
9,
balance.
so
9.
nothing.
Yeah. I mean, Waterdeep is a place where like there's a lot of shit going on. I can't stress enough, like just the layers of factions and politics and temples and different entities here that all have a stake in the future of the city in
Mhm.
every aspect of potential life. From just like micro stuff within neighborhoods to much larger stuff dominating the entire city and its kind of course in the future.
Mm.
But like specifics, you haven't been here long enough to really like drill down those details.
Okay.
But what Bella's saying is absolutely true, right? I will point out one thing that was mentioned, just because it's also been a minute. So, Lord Neverember is still the leader of the Council of Waterdeep. And it was mentioned before he did not attend the gala because he showed up for Lyra festivities and then has been effectively letting Lady Silverhand run the council as his second, right? And this is a common thing when you have big cities like this, especially with councils, to be kind of like put somebody into place because Lord Neverember is very old, right? So there's a possibility he could just pass away at some point, and he'd rather have someone who's been designated as, in charge than people start fighting. But that doesn't always mean it takes.
I did not know there was political upheaval at the council.
And our understanding is there is a council of Waterdeep, but there's also the lords of Waterdeep, and all the lords are masked and unknown, but there's one known lord, one open lord of Waterdeep.
I mean, nobody said those words, but that is kind of a
Baldur's Gate.
no. You were absolutely correct in like terms of the whispers you would hear on the streets of like, oh yeah, there's the council, but then there's like the other folks as well. And like if you were to ask them more details, they probably couldn't give them to you. But like, there's a lot of weird clandestine shadowy shit happening, and whether it's accurately captured as people kind of blame stuff on different things, but
there is enough intrigue in this city. It is part of the game that my family plays. It might be worth speaking to my mother and father about it. They might have some insight.
Are they still staying at the place with us?
they were in the house.
The Siri.
I believe they have their own. I don't know if the place that was just fucking like attacked. I don't know if that was their home.
No, that was a gala place that was utilized for council business. They have a house in Waterdeep.
No, they have a house in Waterdeep. It is.
Here's the big question, though: are they more or less rich than Nasir? Is their house nicer than his?
Gotta be less, right?
Are you asking Odette? Odette says looks a little flustered, and she says,
never mind.
"My family."
That's out of character. I'm asking. I'm just trying to establish for setting.
No. I'm just waiting for. I'm waiting for the word to come out of Odette's mouth that we're comfortable.
I don't know. I've never asked. Yeah.
Well, unless you did ask, she was just like, they have a home nearby. We are a very long line of shadow marked elves. So, and she just kind of goes like apology. She'll like her thin shoulders kind of go up. If you know anything about the shadow marked. So, and anyway, that's
okay.
That's what she does. She's just like, So and she leaves it at that. But I was
Wait,
kept away
why
from
aren't
a
we
lot of
staying at your parents' house?
because Yosef was kind enough to take us in, and your parents are there.
Uh-huh.
And my parents judge
Yes,
me pretty harshly.
my parents. Right.
You're asking why
You,
aren't we staying at my parents' house? Because I don't want to.
I am not being held to the. I'm being held to a very, very high standard as a single child. You must understand. So, and they want to keep me out of intrigue. However, they're not very keen on the fact that I am following my dreams, but also Lady Alora, so it is very complicated when you have a long lived, undying ancestor.
Cool
Sounds
aunt.
like it.
Hunt's like, I'm a dwarf.
Dwarves are quite. Do you have any undying ancestors on your side?
Not that I know of. I don't even have parents. They're gone.
Oh, I'm so sad to hear that.
We're a violent people.
Truth.
All right, let's go back to Nasir's.
Let's go.
Right, yeah, so you get back to East Manor House. Itzel, what's up?
Yeah, I was trying to decide how awkward I wanted to make this.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, I'll ask this as the party comes back in, right? What do they see or don't see? Your call. Like your scene.
so approximately how much time do we like since Delon and I coming back versus now?
It's
Like
probably been like 2 hours.
Trail of clothes leading down the hall.
Grrr.
um
Clothes, I imagine them just like constantly shape shifting and like chasing
I was,
each other.
I was
down
gonna
the
say
hall.
clothes and
No,
fur,
no.
but I didn't want to make it weird.
weird.
Feathers,
The
molted skin.
ah.
That's what makes it weird. Yeah.
Yep. Just a really long snake skin right in front of the door.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
You started this.
oh.
Um,
Anaconda. Got it.
yeah. The I figure so. Like each of our rooms is like because we described them at some point, but like reasonably large, and then it was like each room has like a balcony, right? Like out into that like garden bit.
Yeah.
So if you guys are coming back like 2 hours, it's a first date after all. We'll be like sitting on the balcony drinking tea, but like the like Itzel was all dressed up in like her leathers and stuff for going out, and like she's now in like a tunic.
Okay.
Yeah.
In that case, yeah, you hear your friends come in, right? And you know that yeah they've arrived back to the house, but the lounge is sitting there sipping his tea. I picture the two of you kind of stargazing.
Yeah, like just yeah.
Are you sitting in separate chairs?
No, I feel like we're probably both sitting on the ground. The and we'll be cute about it. She'll like be sitting like leaning back against his chest.
Hmm.
You hear the door slams as like they come walking in the front door.
And she'll kind of be like, "Do you want to talk to the crew, or would you like to? Or would you want like? Should I talk to them first? Would you like to?"
He kind of ponders that for a second, just goes,
That was a dramatic door
What are-
opening. So
What are you most comfortable with? I can leave, I can stay here on the balcony, or I can come out and talk with you all.
if they're willing to share what their whatever made them slam the door, I don't have a problem with you being there for that. But they might want a council-less member not in attendance, depending. Um,
Well, then
but
what I'll do is I'll stay here on the balcony and I will make some more tea. And if you want me to join in, more than happy. And if you have time to come back for another cup of tea, I'll be here.
another cup of tea.
Another
Okay.
cup of tea.
Yeah.
he smiles when he
Yeah.
says it.
Yeah. No. No, she'll just another cup of tea. Okay. And she will like kind of do the thing where it's like, all right, is tunic covering enough for this to be like relatively decent? And then like hop on some like sandals and go trot down into the grand foyer.
Just the overlong business shirt and sandals.
Effectively, yes.
Yeah, it's just the three of them, right? Everyone
Mhm.
else is kind of off to bed. Bella, your parents thankfully aren't lurking in the kitchen anymore.
God.
It's probably late for them, right? Yusef's not around either. Last time you saw him, he was at the Arcane Tower talking to some people. He wanted to follow up with some stuff, and he's been just, I don't know, there ever since, or he's been busy
Being a
doing
nerd.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
I think Cole is with us because he was with us when we were sitting across from the other cafe. He's just useless. That's all.
He's been in the background the whole time.
Yeah, Cole's just kind of hanging out.
Yeah,
I'm
he's just
sure
been
he was an
hanging.
effective bodyguard looking person in the casino.
Yeah.
He probably looms well.
Yeah. So I'll come like trotting down the steps. I mean, like, so what'd you find?
What did you find? How did it go?
Good. We're having tea.
Good for you.
Excellent.
Mhm.
And
It, speaking, I guess, of which, if you want him to be part of the conversation, depending on what you found, we can call him over.
Let's leave that out for now. We were offered a deal by a gangster working for one of the other council members to kill someone. So, she might not want that spread around.
And yet,
specifically,
maybe it needs to be spread. Okay. Yeah.
well, specifically, Chantel, we were told that she could.
Oh, sorry. Chantel is the person we're killing, not the person that offered to kill someone. Okay. That
Yes.
very different.
And it seems like we
But why
would
would we
be.
give that satisfaction to someone else?
Right? Like, if she had to be killed.
I nearly killed her. I probably could have followed through, but then she
Yes.
would not have faced justice.
It was an
You were that
emotional
close.
experience for you.
It was very emotional. My parents almost died. We almost died. I believe we should not take this particular avenue.
Yeah, I don't think there's any actual inclination to take the deal at all, but it is weird that the gangsters of the city are trying to get us to owe them a favor, because it seems like they would have people to do most things. So why would they need us? Was the main takeaway.
Itzel, if you'd like to make a knowledge history, you're welcome to.
Yes, I think I would like to do that. I would love if Owlbear would do a thing for me, but it's not going to, so that's fine.
Vala doesn't do books. No, I can't find a roll button in the new Owlbear at all.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
I thought I had dice enabled, but I'll figure out how that goes.
Be a setting for the room. Okay.
Yeah, there's a bunch of widgets you can add into it now, which is kind of cool.
I did
that's
not
good.
roll well with that. That's going to be a 10. Yeah.
Similar information to what Odette got, right? Waterdeep is a complicated political mess, right? People do back channels for favors, and the double crosses tend to be not violent, but just like political sabotage and like a little bit of bureaucratic backstabbing that results in people kind of seizing control of areas. Every now and then, sometimes people disappear, but it's a big deal if a council member gets hurt or killed.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's kind of a, I'm not going to say a hard line because it happens, but it's not common. And that usually is something that is a big enough event that people start pulling threads and trying to investigate.
So I appreciate what she was trying to do, and I don't want to mess with her business. You know, she seems to be doing well in the underworld. I don't want to rat her out to her fellow council member, but I don't think we're interested in that offer at all. Correct me if I'm wrong.
The only
No, that
thing. Go ahead.
did. I mean, the only. Once again, I wouldn't want to give the satisfaction to someone else, but did it seem like if we don't take them up on the offer, that the possibility would exist that Chantal would benefit? Like, get a lighter sentence, get released, become,
It is implied that other powers in Waterdeep could, yes, subvert, the expectation that Chantel will just remain in prison indefinitely.
Perhaps it is worth telling a council member. The only other people that I think might have some good advice would be Calisandra and Octavian Beauvoir, my parents. They understand, as performers and shadow marked elves, they understand the intricate nature of this city in particular. So they might be able to give us some advice without getting directly involved. Do you think your ranger friend would be interested in this, knowing all this right now?
I think he would lend an ear and a, his perspective. I don't know if it would be his favorite activity, but it's. I think he would do it. I don't get the sense that this kind of intrigue is his favorite part of the job.
Yeah, perhaps not then.
Would you like? Should we invite your parents?
What time is it right now?
Yeah.
That's like 11 o'clock at night. Because your meeting was at 10.
They are probably debating in the parlor at this point, so probably not. But I can send word to them this morning. I'll write a letter tonight.
I was looking it up to see if Tempest thinks of politics as a kind of war. And the answer to that is no, he fucking hates politics. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to go to church and ask them if they know about the undercurrents in the city, because they would not give a shit.
It all sucks.
Yeah.
They may, however, have more insight into why the that sickly-looking lamp was hidden within the very image of your god. Why would they hide it? Or do they know how to use it?
If we're going off to rescue Metzel, it might be worth my while to ask Father Stone about the lamp.
Yes, actually, that makes perfect sense. The more we know about it, maybe the easier it'll be to contact or find it in a different realm also.
I believe the only thing he's told me so far is that it was locked away because it was dangerous.
It was locked away because it was dangerous. It was locked away because it was an artifact that they could not with reasonable certainty destroy without the possibility of backlash. And they didn't really know what that backlash was going to be, and it wasn't worth the risk. So it was safest to basically put a protective bubble around it and seal it away.
How'd that work out?
Pretty well for a long time.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. One does not expect a Glabrazu just to wander into your church and start breaking shit.
Yeah.
I guess
Somehow
Tempest
they
would.
knew, though. They knew somehow.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll ask Father Stone in the morning about that. That's a good point. Thank you.
So, if we are to have a tiered list of to do, we are still waiting on some magical items.
Mhm.
I will send word to my parents tomorrow morning. I believe I did send word to Lady Silverhand about Chantel and asking her if she possibly knew of a way to release General Azumana from his prison in a music box. You're going to speak to Father Stone. What else do we need to get done? We need to teleport somehow. We are to go to Lady Alora's place.
Yes, I believe our next spot was to go to Lady Allura.
As you say, what else do we need to do?
Thank you, Pussycats.
The the door behind you kind of
Clatters
opens,
open. Yeah.
and Yusef comes walking in with good old Mortimer. Right, you're a Twitland mage friend from Neverwinter.
The turtle?
Yeah,
Oh,
he was at the
let's see,
wedding.
he's still around.
Yeah, he
We
got
haven't
out.
seen him in forever since
Yeah.
he tried to interrupt the wedding.
Yeah, he realized what was happening like at the very last second, and just like did not get there fast enough. And then was like, I need to get the hell out. But luckily, he managed to take a lot of people away with him, which was good. But yeah, they kind of open the door and like see all of you, and Yusuf goes, "Ah, good, you're all here. Everything, everything good with my friends?"
Bonsoir. It has been a while. Archmage? Is he an archmage?
Yeah, he is. He was one of the archmages in Neverwinter. He,
What's his title? What do we call him?
Yeah.
oh, he's archmage. It'd be Archmage Mortimer, but he told you when you guys met, you could call him Mortimer. He was very personable. It's just a little, yeah, low energy, right? he's got very Eeyore vibes in the way he kind of moves around and carries himself, but he's not just sad. He's just kind of a slow moving dude.
Sloth like.
Yeah. But yeah, Yusuf nods and like looks at Mortimer and he says, "Yeah, we've been having some fantastic conversations about the Shadowfell, and Mortimer here, I think, has some very good advice on how to navigate that kind of environment. Spent a lot of the day pulling some books and doing some research on that."
You seem excited about it. It's good to see you in good spirits.
Oh,
So.
I like preparation. The more I know about a thing before it happens, the better. And I like that even more when it could potentially help my friends avoid terrible fates. Prefer we didn't have to go at all, but hey, that's what we got, right? Then he like waves Mortimer in, who like kind of just nods to all of you, and you can see he's like got like a stack of books with him. And he takes them over to the kitchen table and sets them down. It's like kind of heavy old tomes where like the paper the paper doesn't like align on the edges as it goes down. It's just like looks like things have been stuffed and bound in over time. And he says, "Oh, First of all, thank you for your hospitality, and it is good to see all of you alive and well. It's been some time. Now, your travels to the Shadowfell, are you truly intent on going? Because the safest course of action would be to not.
Unless there's a way to pull Metzley through without going through ourselves, the I don't. I didn't get the impression that she can pull herself through on her own. Um,
Fortunately, there are ways to do it, but not given our current circumstances. To be very specific on where she is to a technical degree, I don't believe achievable at this time.
okay. Would you be willing to talk to Father Stone if it's possible for them to tell us about the artifact that she's carrying, locating her, um, and seeing if that would allow us to at least make it easier to pull her through or locate between the the faithful and the arcane? Maybe that'll be easier to actually locate, pinpoint where she
Of
is.
course. Of course. If he
Mm.
has insight, I'd be happy to hear it.
Um,
Now,
okay, and then she'll be like, excuse me for a second, and like touch, like clear her throat and touch it, and then she's gonna make like a spider monkey call, like so like a loud like chittering like ululation kind of a thing. I'll be like, just he'll be down in a minute.
Father Stone will be down in a minute?
No, Talon.
Okay, you said Father Stone, so I was very confused for a second.
No, sorry. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Separate
recall him
thought.
being here, but all right.
Separate thoughts.
Like, wow, it was getting crowded in that room.
Second date.
Like-
It's fine.
But
Well, you definitely said you were asking if Mortimer would talk with Father Stone. Did you mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Galen?
So no, I meant Mortimer talked to Father Stone.
Okay.
Sorry,
Okay.
those were separate. Yeah.
Separate. It's okay.
Yes.
gotcha. So Mortimer just kind of pauses for a second and collects his thoughts and just says, "Now, there are some things that are important to know about the Shadowfell, right? It's very, it's a very dangerous place that is attractive.
If he says dark, I swear to God.
It's a dark place as well. But things there are attracted to life, light, and magic, because all three bear markers of the living in some way. And some things are envious and may wish to take those things from you in a spiritual or possessive manner, and some things will wish to simply extinguish that life from you. The reason I say this is I caution use of magic. It can call things upon you you may not be prepared to face.
I don't know if you've met us, but
What I have done is I have created something I think will help with that. And what he pulls out are four probably $50 sized shield pins, right? He says, "Now, I've enchanted these to help hide magical signature. However, there is a limit and they can be broken if they are overloaded. But understanding that at times you will need to use the arcane to survive, these should absorb those signatures and keep you hidden from threats.
But if we were to use any, say, spell or enchantment ourselves, then it gets absorbed, but it can only absorb so much.
Yeah. So mechanically, what's going to happen is you got these cool shields that effectively, when you cast, they've got 3 lives or charges, right? And they basically require a concentration check from you when you cast to have that thing absorbed rather than emanate through the Shadowfell, right? If you pass the concentration check, works as intended. If you fail, one of those lives is burned on it. And if all 3 of the slots are basically burnt on that item, it is now damaged. So when you start casting, um, you don't have any protection from what could happen out there. So it is something to keep in mind, right?
What could
Now,
happen out there?
oh, like mechanically, you're asking Mortimer because,
Sure. Asking Mortimer, what could happen without these?
well,
We become a target. Sitting ducks.
things will be
Is it just
Bones.
going to notify things, or will the spell backfire in some way?
backfire is a possibility in various areas, and I'll get to that. But mostly for notification and awareness. Things will sense magic in the same way you sense the divine, but sometimes from much greater distances.
Gotcha.
So,
Stepping on the spider web. Yeah.
yes. Now, the second piece is the Shadowfell does not follow linear progression. It is a place of, well, intention, right? As you travel, the terrain will shift drastically, and your thoughts, feelings, and dispositions can have an effect on the things around you, both positively and negatively. It was important that you remain focused as to not alter the terrain around you in a dramatically bad way. Negative emotions are amplified greatly in the Shadowfell.
We have all seen this to a degree before. In Lady Alora's realm, we were able to craft our own rooms to our desires.
Mm-hmm.
Mortimer, would it be anything like that? Could we make our travels easier by thinking happy thoughts?
In theory, yes.
Hmm.
And it will be more difficult, but it is very possible.
Difficult simply because we are in the Shadowfell.
Yes. From what I understand about the Undying Realms, Lady Alora has a level of control over that realm,
Hmm.
and as such could potentially allow that to you as well, giving you greater ability to impact that environment. In the Shadowfell itself, it is either the Raven Queen or the Uncharted. The Uncharted, it enters to nobody, and the Raven Queen, well, that's her domain. She decides what happens there.
And we believe that um, the lamp and Netzli is there, correct? Or at least that is where we can pull her through from.
Through the Raven Queen's domain?
Yeah, in the Raven Queen's realm, if we go into the Shadowfell, we're going there in order to pull her and the lamp back through, right?
Yes.
But
So
she's not physically there.
you have two options. So she's somewhere in the Shadowfell. If
She
you
is in the Shadowfell. Okay.
Yes, if you go into the Raven Queen's domain, this is all out of character stuff, right? Um, you have less chaos, right? But you have to effectively convince the Raven Queen to be willing to help you and let someone leave her domain,
Hmm.
right? And that could come with a variety of weird stuff because she probably won't do it for free.
Hmm.
But that's way
There's going to
more
be a cost.
yeah, that's way more controlled though. If you go into like the uncharted pieces of the Shadowfell, you can MacGuffin and like D&D bullshit that your way through those places, right? Because there's a lot of just wild shit happening, but none of it's structured, right? So it could be literally a roll of the dice to be like, does this actually work or do we all implode? Right? Not that bad, but you get the idea, right? It's like the wild magic table, you know, sometimes it's really beneficial, sometimes shrieking mushrooms appear, sometimes a person explodes and TPKs their party.
Sometimes your hair turns into feathers. Sometimes you cast a level 8 fireball on yourself.
Mm-hmm. So
Regular stuff.
yeah.
All right, sounds like these amulets will be very helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
And I would love to introduce you to Father Stone tomorrow. I don't believe that he would be willing to talk to an outside mage about a holy artifact, but I do believe that I could talk to him with you.
I think that is fair and reasonable. And you got Yusef like on the other side of the table, like kind of smiling and trying to stay positive.
We got this, guys.
And he says, "Tell him about the other thing." And Mortimer goes,
Oh, cute.
"There was one more thing we were able to. It is able to gather." And he puts 4 rings on the table and says, "These are very simple items, but they will be undoubtedly necessary where you're going. These rings will sustain you without food and water."
Oh.
Shadowfell is not kind to living things. Supplies are hard to come by, but these rings make it so that you will not have to eat or drink.
Well, that's handy.
So now, I can make more of these if you're taking more people.
And it's all have gotten like really quiet as she picked up the ring. Like, well, at least one more. I don't know how Metzley's been sustaining herself.
Odette looks nervously at Cole, and they just share, like, you know, her kind of violet eyes kind of flash to him, and then he looks at her with yellow eyes, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he reacts or anything like that.
He kind of tilts his head inquisitively at you, like he's kind of asking that question of like,
She seems very, very uncomfortable and very unsure, and she says, I will put it out there. I don't know, my dear. I don't know. But I know I cannot contain you. No one and no force can. I would want you by my side, of course. But this is so dangerous. I know you have some shadow dancing ability, and I know you have some druidic abilities, but I don't know.
I think Mortimer just kind of like slowly looks back and forth between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
Make one more.
I will make an extra
he
one
will-
just in case. Uh, Cole doesn't say anything. He doesn't look mad. He just looks like he doesn't. This is a private conversation, and he doesn't really want to have.
Of
He would
course.
he would rather talk to you about this off to the side. It kind of gives you like a look,
Yeah.
like. Yusuf says, so we've got some good things going. What else can I help you with before you have to go?
Realize that our next step after we get Metzli is the desolation of Shar. If there is something that you know or can give us to help with that, that is the big step after we rescue our friend.
Okay.
I am assuming the rings will allow us to sustain ourselves while we walk through the desolation, but will it be similar to the Shadowfell? Would the lamp alone help us walk through there?
Mortimer, you see him kind of like thinking, just goes, Shar's an interesting place of study. It follows multiple rules at once. It follows rules from the material plane, it follows rules from the Shadowfell, and it follows a third set of, well, debatably classified, but ultimately divine rules. Depending on where you are within Shar itself. The research there is slim. Most people don't go to Shar. It is far too dangerous. However, I feel there's a few things we can do to get some answers before you head out.
Now, I do believe, I'm trying to remember back to all of our previous sessions where we've talked about these. Were we going to try to teleport directly to the desolation, or were we going to Kalimport to drive? Because
So-
Kalimport was a safe teleport circle, and Desolation of Shar was a dangerous straight trip.
Yeah, Kalimpport's a place you can absolutely arrive safely without rolling. It's established. Shar, you can teleport in and hope for the best as to where you end up, because the maps are not good. No one's familiar with that location. It does actually change because of the like weird magics that are there, and so you could end up in a very good spot. You can end up somewhere very dangerous. That's going to come down to like teleportation dice rolls.
And
Also, Bella's parents offered that they have a place in Kalimport.
They do.
So,
oh, that is very lucky. Yes.
beach house.
My parents. Right. Yes.
Good old
People that
mom
I
and
am
dad.
definitely related to and have many fond memories of.
Yusef's kind of like, just affectionately like, kind of shakes your shoulder like a little bit, like not crazy or anything. It's just like, I'm so happy I was able to find them. You have no idea how concerned I was about that.
An unexpected treat to
I
find here at your house.
I just wanted one less thing for you to have to worry about while everything else was happening, And I thought if you knew where your parents were, that they were safe, that would take a lot off your mind. And I'm glad to hear that that's the case.
So that means that while you don't have to answer the question now, if you come up with something that will help us in the desolation, you can forward the message on for us to pick up at Bella's parents' house in Kalimshan.
Kalimport.
Kalishan is the country. Kalimport is the city, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And Mortimer nods and says, "Excellent."
just so I'm following out of character, I'm just following this. We're going to Kalimport. There is a teleportation circle there, and that's how we get to Lady Alora's place, and that's how we get to the Shadowfell.
Nope, other way around.
Yeah.
We would go from here to Lady Alora's
And then from there,
Because
and the Shadowfell, and from her we take the teleport to Kalimport.
Mhm.
and then we hopefully bring the car along and drive from Kalimport to the Desolation.
Now, normally I think there's a rule on like how much stuff you can bring in a teleportation circle, but I'm willing to waive that for the car.
Yes.
Now I will argue if you
Yay.
buy like a shitload of bullshit and put it in the car, like
We're packing up the car. Yeah.
yeah, like you got Rochet snacks and stuff. If you're like, we need a piano and like our, I don't know, emotional health boulder made of titanium, or like, just like dumb shit. I'm like, nah.
It's a
Titanium is
baby
very
grand
light.
piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like dense,
Which
but
is
not
light.
light. Yeah.
20 cast iron skillets just in case you lose some. Like,
Yes.
you can take the car.
Okay.
We're hoarders.
It's like packed
All right,
up
so
like
I
one of
think
those.
I think that's the plan.
That's a good plan.
Got it. Now I am. So is it this teleportation ban will be lifted for us then when we are ready to leave?
I have spoken with the Archmages of Waterdeep, and they are willing to lift the ban long enough for you to exit the city whenever you are ready.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Did we think too much about how we are getting back?
Well, didn't Lady Alora teleport us here?
Mm-hmm.
She did. She has her own circle.
So I think as long as we can get to her realm, she'll send us to Kalimport, right?
She could do
Fingers
that.
crossed.
Oh,
Yeah, that's definitely within her power.
My plan was to rely on her goodwill.
She definitely
her
can do
favorite-
it.
I'm her favorite relative. She I'm sure.
Also, I really want to check in on the dance troupe. They're still there, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
They've been hanging out.
we gotta hold another like training session with them. Yeah.
And I'll join in this time since Bella needs to learn how to use her
Bella's got a
rapier.
sword.
That's
Yeah.
right.
I thought you were coming with us. No, that didn't happen, did it?
No, they stayed because it was actually a nice place for them to hang out.
Mhm.
And it was because part of it was you weren't sure if Waterdeep was going to be safe, and so we were like,
Oh,
"Yeah,
right.
you're safe here."
Until we free up the city and they get their I want to say their bar back. No, until they get their theater back.
And to be fair, we went a lot of places that were not very safe between there and Waterdeep. So even though Waterdeep itself might have been okay,
Yeah, you did
as long
go
as they
to
stayed away from that one party.
you did go to Gray's
true,
lab,
gosh.
and then you went to Bella's childhood home, which was filled with Roxashes and Onis just hanging out,
Mhm,
which is all bad. So, okay, cool.
All right.
Great.
Well, it's been a long day. I think I'm ready for bed.
Yes. We have quite a bit ahead of us. It's been a long, what is this, 9 days now?
Canonically, 12.
Since the very
Less-
beginning.
Less than
Yeah.
2 weeks, but
Since we died, or
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since we picked up since you came back from the
From the cave,
the cave,
the dungeon.
right? Yeah, I'm not
Mhm.
counting the 2 weeks of training camp and all that stuff.
That's what I was gonna be like. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. 12 days of just sheer nightmare fuel. And a
Just
party.
regular.
It's been a hell of a run.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
All right, cool. I think everyone's gonna have a chance to wind down and enjoy the rest of the night. Did you want Delon to come down, or is that?
I assume that when I called for him, he would have come and listened.
Yeah,
but,
you all notice as you're kind of wrapping up the conversation. Delon's kind of in an alcove, right? He's just kind of being respectfully distant, and he's got a little cup of tea that he's just kind of sipping on and just watching everything with his little softly glowing emerald green eyes. But he doesn't say anything. He's just politely lurking. I think if he could get to it, he'd probably be standing behind Itzel and doing something be almost shoulder to shoulder, kind of cutesy, I'm here.
Something tender.
Yeah.
But then we'll greet him. Hello, sir. Shake his hand.
He's, yeah. good evening. Sorry to interrupt. I didn't realize you would all still be awake.
We're just planning the trip.
Hmm.
I do truly wish you the best of luck on this. As a member of the Emerald Enclave, I would offer to help you prepare and supply, but it sounds like you're not in need of sustenance, which will be beneficial for you. Don't know a lot about the Shadowfell, but I've heard terrible things. Sorry, that doesn't help.
Should be a grand old time.
I'm curious if my powers and Bella's powers would be enhanced while we are there. It
Oh.
is quite possible,
That's very
as
possible.
we derive our powers from the shadows.
Mm-hmm. Very possible indeed.
Assuming Mortimer is still with us, like holding that shield emblem.
He's like spent the last 5 minutes like walking towards the door,
Uh,
just like reaching out a hand.
yeah. Does the type of magic, speaking of, change the capacity on this thing? So like, if you know, if life magic calls a particularly loud signature across the Shadowfell, but shadow magic doesn't, would that change what and how much you could fire off at once?
So yeah, I'll give you the stats in the Discord, but basically, the concentration check is based on the DC of the spell you drop, or the,
Okay.
the spell level of the spell you drop.
Okay.
You have advantage if you're casting necromancy type of magic, right, to conceal that, because it still does leave a signature, but it's not nearly as loud as, like, I don't know, casting Dawn in the middle of the Shadowfell. That would be a very obtrusive thing.
Mm.
How about lighting up my Holy Avenger?
That would not inherently cause magical feedback. I think things nearby would probably hate it. But that's not like a magical spell slot you have to burn. That's just an innate ability the sword has.
Okay.
Right.
Mm.
This is for specifically the mechanic is if you burn spell slot to do thing, there's a
So no
possibility of
cantrips.
feedback.
Mhm.
Cantrips are not affected.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool.
because that would be just silly, right? I'll give you that one.
Mhm.
But like innate abilities that you guys have that you could use that aren't burning spell slots, like, shouldn't be obtrusive. That doesn't mean the things that can see you and react to those things won't hate them, but it won't like start calling out
Bring it on.
dramatically to other people.
So they
The
can
light
hate
of
us-
Tempest cannot be stopped.
Hell yeah.
So they can hate us for carrying around light. They can carry us. They can hate us for just being alive, but they're not going to come after us for magical stuff unless we f up.
From miles away.
Yeah, like if you
Miles.
use your Shatter Step, or if like Valen wants to use his aura, like that kind of stuff just is fine. If you're like, I'm burning a 6th-level spell slot for a smite, and then there's just a small mushroom cloud in the distance, and people are like, what the hell was that? You know?
Mm.
That's the kind of stuff that's going to alert people.
Huge explosion. I think I heard something.
Yeah.
I heard something.
Must have been the wind.
Oh,
Just, cool. Well, as people are settling down for the evening, I think it's a good time to take a break.
yeah.
So we'll pick up tomorrow morning.
Well, I was going to say that before
Wow, that's a
going
long
to bed,
break.
Yeah.
Yeah. See y'all
while
Monday
settling down for the night and kind of relaxing with Gruff, Valen is going to take out his brewer's kit and make his first healing potion.
morning. Excellent.
Nice.
Did you want to roll, or did you want to?
He's just going to start with the basic recipe he got. Just a basic 2d4 plus 4 healing potion, which I believe just costs a spell slot. But he's just going to make it before bed. And then in the morning, he's going to try to do it again.
Easy. You add a healing potion, or add a basic healing potion to your inventory.
Cool.
Does anyone else do anything Is there anything else that's happening before people go to bed?
I guess we have to have another conversation, or Cole and Odette, or maybe we just sleep on it. I don't know.
Maybe you need to think about that while we take a break. This is an important
Yeah, let's
decision.
do that.
Yeah.
Can you concentrate with him in the fight?
Mm.
That's a good question.
Not if I have to like save him. Like if the last battle said anything, where I spent most of my economy of actions saving my family, and then counsel. I mean, you were doing it too.
I was going to say, Val would absolutely be like, don't worry, I'm going to stand in front of Cole. But then that means I'm not standing in front of Bella or Itzel or whoever. So,
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and that was also a mechanic of the last combat specifically was like everyone was in danger. It was
Well,
just
yeah.
bad, right? Because
And
I hate the
Ellen-
whole like you have an NPC who's like there with you
Plot
and
armor.
not helpful. Like yeah, like well, it's like okay, your NPC friend goes down because they have 2 hit points. Like no, they're a fully fleshed out character. It's just not everyone can sit there and tank a shitload of poison damage followed by a round of assassins murdering and go we're fine. Like this is all bad.
Yeah.
except for Alan, and he helped everybody do that.
Yes. It helps to be a dwarf
MVP.
when there's
Spread the
poison involved.
joy.
Okay.
Do that when we come back.
Yeah, we'll kind of sort through the rest of that when we get back. But let's take a quick 10-minute break, and we'll continue our adventure. Be right back. But yeah. Oh wow. That was incredible timing. I was like, oh, we'll just go back and bullshit for a bit, and then like, it's all just appeared.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
I have a question. How many advantage coins do we have?
We should have 2. It says
I was
one
going to say,
on
it was
the
2
overlay.
earlier, and now it's 1.
Yeah, I don't know how that
That's fine.
changed.
Oh, you have cold feet. What did you do?
Oh yeah. All right. Yeah. It's 2 when we started. It should be 2. All right. So into the evening. Right?
Yes.
I know Odette has a conversation to have with Cole. So I think as the door closes back to your room, Cole says, all right, so do you want to talk about this now? We can do it
I
in the
know
morning.
you don't want to. We can talk about it whenever you want to. It's unfair. It's unfair that life has happened to us this way. It is unfair that one of my many past lives has decided to interfere with my current one. And I don't know how to apologize for that.
I've been giving it some thought. And I talked to Yusef a bit this morning.
Oh.
While you were working in that magical clean room, I had a few minutes to talk to him. There's stuff I can do here.
Yes.
He's tied into the council. They're going to obviously be looking for how to respond to what's happening in Neverwinter, right? I'm not going to go to the city like that. That's not.
Please don't. Just wait for me before you do.
But there's resources and information that the council's trying to put together to get a cleaner picture of what's happening. And they asked Yusef to help. They know that he has a lot of information about Neverwinter because of his family. And he did say if I if I wanted to, I could go with him. Kind of work with him to find ways for the council to get forces into the city.
I think that is better than my idea. If you want to hear it, it's dreadful, though.
What's your idea?
You may have only just met, but and they are fine people on their own. But my parents have almost died once, so I was going to have you babysit them as their bodyguard. But I think this idea might be a little bit better.
He thinks about it. And he says, if it's go ahead and roll insight real quick. But he says, if it is that important to you,
Oh my.
then I'm willing to do that. What'd you roll?
20 not nat. Dirty 20.
You know a lot about Cole, right?
Mhm.
You have just a tremendous amount of insight into way he thinks, and like he's just the kind of person that hates being on the sidelines.
Mhm.
And he's
And, we may
genuine.
help. Mhm.
He's very genuine in his offer to say, like, if that's really important to you, I will do it. But you can see, like, he wants to do something to help what's happening next, right? And he's willing to not, but there's a little bit of frustration, disappointment, on the back end of that, that he's probably feeling. Not necessarily concealing it from you, but you can see that he's feeling that a little bit.
Cole, I know you are the lead principal dancer, male principal dancer of our company. You are very talented. You have trusted me in our love, and you have trusted me to help me explore the way of shadow dancing when I didn't truly trust anybody else. I know you want to be doing something. And I couldn't bear to lose you if my mind was distracted, or if yours was distracted, and we were in the Shadowfell of all places. I think you being here, spend all of your energy here. You don't have to babysit my parents. That was a last resort to kind of, But I think you would be instrumental in helping Yosef and the council try to figure out a way to take back our city, to take back the Royal Academy. You bring something that Yosef would not. He is an inventor, but he is not. He is active in the mind. You are active in the body. You see things that other people don't see. You have animal instincts that others don't have. Well, except for like Itzel and probably her new boyfriend, but I will come back to you. And that is my promise to you. I've done it once. And you know I do not give up easily. But I will be back here. And when we come back, and when I come back and we are ready to retake our city, I want to do it hand in hand with you. And maybe we get married real quick right before that happens. Just so we end up in the same place if we end up, dying. But I would rather do it with you. I don't want you to die. I don't want to die myself, but if we are to take back our city and die trying, I'd rather do it in your arms.
He I think he just sweeps you up in like a big hug, and there's like a very emotional moment, right? And then just takes a step back, and he says, "I'll definitely check in on your parents. Like I'll be here in the city. I'll stop by and make sure they're okay."
Thank you.
And it just, well, I'm gonna hold you to what you said, right? Make sure you come back, because otherwise,
I will come
we've
back.
done a whole lot for, yeah.
I will come back. And she kind of like leans into him and hugs him back. And she says, "My parents are a lot.
Yeah, I
They
gathered that.
they may invite you to parties. They won't be mean. They are subtle, but they will never be mean to you, and they will never be underhanded or anything like that. Um, but they do care, and I think they care that I am happy with you. And I think Yosef does need a little bit of help. But I will hold myself true to my word. I will return."
You,
She kind of like idly kind of touches like a hairpin, and it's the hairpin that she stole from Chantel,
mhm.
which will prevent her death. And she's just like, "I have a way to make sure that I return."
Cole just says, that's good, because I'm not trying to. I don't want to figure out another lead. I don't want to have to figure out how to dance with somebody like that. You know what? We got a good thing going. I don't
I
want to
think
mess
we
it up.
do. I mean, we're fiancés now. It is that is a better thing than a good thing.
Yeah. No,
Let's go to bed.
I think it's a good idea.
Perfect.
Yeah, and the two of you head off to bed. Um, Probably wrapped in each other's arms.
Yeah.
Right.
Chaste kisses
Chase kisses.
all night.
Um, all night. And tea. Um, does Delon leave, or is he staying?
I mean, if he needs to leave, that's fine. I think Itzel will have like, because if he like came over and gave his sort of 2 cents of like, hey, I was listening, uh, I think she would be more than happy to like bring him back up to the room. But
He did offer a second cup of tea.
it's true.
Mhm. Yeah, true to his word. There is more tea that he made upstairs.
Nice. I feel like we stole this from like Metzley's stash, so it's like actually good stuff. Yeah.
I keep trying to put the cat down because she's heavy and she won't let go.
It's like, no, I live here.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Aw.
Let's
So,
see.
there we go. Ah.
There's the thing. Um,
Yeah, because especially because we are probably what, like T minus 2 days before we're gone.
Yeah, if
And he's
that.
certainly not coming because he's a council member. So like
No,
that conversation probably wouldn't even have been fielded. I imagine yeah. Um,
he does mention at one point. He says, I if the city wasn't in danger, I would go with you to help you find your cousin. And I realized that that's a
Thank
hard
you.
comparison to make. I would. I wanted to say something in case. I I don't want you to think I don't care. I do deeply.
Good tea. The I we also need you here. The not just to make sure that Waterdeep is intact and functional, but also because we will need the support when we come, like, go to the next step once we've retrieved Metzley and the lantern, and the next step is the desolation and actually facing Zangi, and we will need whatever the council can help with. Also to make sure that, like, the loss of life here is contained and that it doesn't fall the way that Neverwinter has, and that your northern borders are, all of those things still need to happen. Um, you're still helping, I guess is what I'm saying, but also your responsibility is to the throngs of people that hopefully will, in a week's time, not be providing Incarnon to, uh, a mad, life destroying sorceress thing. Yeah, that.
Well put. Yeah. That.
Yes, that eloquent. Yep, that definitely is how that came out. Yep.
And he kind of laughs like with you and is like,
Mhm.
I sorry if it. Well, I'm very happy I get to spend this time with you.
Good, because you're here until morning.
He
Um,
kind of gives you a look and just says, "Would you like some with tea?" With like 2 full cups of tea in front of you.
okay. Um, and she'll kind of like take the cup and be like, "All right, like, lead on."
We just see the balcony doors close behind you too.
Mhm.
um,
Room starts to shake. Steam comes out from underneath the door. Yep.
animal noises. So, um, as everyone's kind of winding down, Bella, you go back to your room and you've been there for about 5 minutes, kind of getting settled. And there's a little knock at the door.
She's gonna go and like open a crack and be like, "Yes."
Yusuf's standing out in the hallway.
Oh, hi. What can I do for you?
Sorry, I know it's late, so forgive the intrusion. I had a question, and it's well, I overheard part of a discussion. Claiming that your patron, for lack of a better word, can make new bodies. Is that correct?
Oh,
Oh, Yusef, no.
um, so, uh, I I only know of like one person. I don't know what all I don't think so. If what you're thinking is what I think you're thinking, um, I don't. Also, I think there's a probably would need your fiance to set it up in the first place, and that doesn't seem likely to happen unless we manage to pull this off in a lot of other ways.
No, I'm. Of course,
It's not like
lost.
he's in the habit of making bodies for like lots of people or something. I don't think it's something he really like has figured out for like most people or anything. I'm
Great.
really not entirely sure on all the details, if I'm being honest.
You hear Gray just very quietly just say, "Let's hear him out."
You bastard. God damn it, Gray.
Yusuf
But
doesn't hear that, but yeah.
I guess if you wanted to talk about it though, like I'm happy to listen just in case.
You can go ahead and roll insight real quick.
That's gonna be an 11.
I mean, you've been around Yusuf long enough to know like this is a whole demeanor shift for him. Like he's just like this is a very like worried person who's trying to deal with a lot of stuff, and his like usual gregarious vibe is kind of not there, right? And he says, "It's not, and it hasn't been for some time. Lost on me that you know." It sounds absurd even saying it out loud, but fighting Zangi means potentially killing Suri. And I don't know if there's something that can be done about that. And I have put it out of my mind for quite some time, but as we're getting closer to having everything we need to move on Neverwinter, it is an unavoidable concern. And I don't. You kind of like. I don't know.
Like in her head, Bella's just sitting there being like, God, I wish Odette was here to handle this.
I'm sorry to trouble you with all this.
No, it's very understandable that this is tough for you in ways we can't really understand ourselves, and you've been so helpful even despite that. So of course, if there's any way we can save Sari while we're trying to do this, I'm sure we'll definitely do whatever we can. So I'll check with my patron and see if he has any ideas or thinks that maybe he could figure something out that could work if we just can get hold of Sari to sort of figure out the process, I guess. I'm sorry, I'm really not clear how it works. Like, I don't know if we just need some hair she left behind, or if we kind of need more than that, if you get my drift, or what really kickstarts the whole thing. And I am gonna stop talking now. Tea, would you like to go downstairs and have some tea? I'm pretty sure Itzel left some down there. I'm pretty sure it's there's probably some okay tea down there. What am I saying? Of course there's okay tea. I'm sure you have very nice tea. Sorry.
Bella says, would you like a cup of tea?
Oh God, no!
I was going to say, he lives here. You're offering him tea.
Yeah, anything to get us to do something else besides have this conversation.
No, you're
no, I am not trying to seduce the grief-stricken man who is currently trying to ask me if there's any weird science way we can make a new body for his fiance. I don't think, you know,
Yeah.
a night on the town, shall we say, is really going to help him here.
Oh yeah.
Take
And
his mind off it.
more importantly, to make a new body for his fiance who is currently possessed by a lich and will probably be killed in order to stop that, right? And like, woof, that's a.
Yeah, he was coming to terms with that, having to kill her to save the world, but the slightest string of hope was just dropped in front of him.
Mm-hmm. He says, I would be more than happy to have some tea.
Let's do that then. Let's go down to the kitchen. Yeah, that sounds good.
You go down to the kitchen, it kind of makes some tea, and it's just a very awkward silence. And then he sits down at the table and kind of just stares at like the steaming cup. What would you do? Like
It's a lovely mix of hibiscus and rose. This like nice fuchsia color in the cup. Has a little bit of tanginess to it, but that really nice like floral aroma. It's supposed to help with stress or something. Metzley made it, so it's great.
Yep. You see, like one box has already been gone through. Is like Yusuf's just been downing this shit in the background trying to get right. But yeah, he looks at Bella and just goes, "Yeah, well, I understand. It's an unfair question, and it's an impossible situation. But like, what would you do?"
I don't think I really know. I don't have anybody I think I feel the same way about as you do, Sari. You know, I guess maybe I did at one point. I don't know. There's a lot of just lack of memories. So I in the time that I can remember, I don't think I've ever really had that. So yeah, it's you know, and you know, if you love someone and you just like want them in your life, you know, they can still be around without a body. You know, it doesn't. You can still talk to them and
Yeah, we've got this cool necklace thing worked out.
yeah. So you know, it's I guess I'm less sure about whether I would really do the body thing specifically if I had someone that I wanted to, you know, not have to miss.
I realize a lot of what I'm thinking about is it's lunacy. It's selfish. It's well, it's an absolute mess. But I can't say I haven't been thinking about it. He like just takes a sip of the tea and just like kind of stares at the table. It's been a lot.
Yeah, you're telling me this has been an eventful 2 weeks.
And you do hear Gray just kind of say, I've said it before. If we get to my workshop, I can make a lot of things.
Gray.
You're a friend, your decision. I'm just letting you know that there is a way to potentially ease the suffering, right? Do with that what you will.
We'll talk about it later.
after another minute, he kind of like blinks, and then looks at you and says, I'm sorry. I realize it's late and you have a lot to do tomorrow. Don't mean to be taking precious time for you where you could be resting. Just I had a thought and I wanted to see how it sounded out loud. So thanks for listening.
Sure. Sorry, I can't be more help. I don't really have any experience to draw from for this kind of situation.
I feel like a lot of us are in that same boat. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna head to bed.
That sounds like a good plan. Good night's rest for everybody.
Oh. Good thing is at least sleeping is quiet. I like that. He just downs the rest of his tea and says, "Seriously,
Would
thank
you- Would you like a visit from Bon Bon? Maybe can help with bad dreams.
It's interesting, out of character. So this dawns on you making that connection, right? Apparently, Yusuf isn't having bad dreams.
That's what Bon Bon's been eating this whole time.
Yeah.
Bon Bon.
Bon
I
was
mean-
specifically allowed to eat bad dreams. That was something
Yeah.
that she has mentioned over and over.
Yeah.
You know what? Forget I said anything. Forget. Just go to bed.
I mean, Bon Bon's still a nice cuddle buddy, right? Very
Mhm.
fuzzy, good shape,
Yeah.
good size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yusuf just nods and says, "You're a good friend. Thanks." And kind of heads off to bed.
You're not as cute as Bon Bon.
No. Yusuf would rather sleep with Bon Bon than me, and honestly, I can understand.
Just love it.
So at that point, I think Bella would talk to Gray and be like, "Okay, but seriously, I don't think we've ever really gone over it. What would it take for you to be able to do that for someone besides me?"
I mean, detailed knowledge of the person, hopefully some type of physical reference, portrait, or detailed description, right? And then just gathering basic components.
But then, how do you get them into the bodies?
Oh, we would need Suri's essence, Incarnum soul.
And how would you even do that? Do you have a little vial somewhere that just like sucks that out of people?
He pauses and says,
Maybe.
"The
Don't
simple
ask the
answer
questions
is-
if you don't want to know how the sausage gets made, Bella.
The simple answer is yes. I can elaborate if you'd like."
I would like some elaboration, yes, please.
It is very difficult to do experiments involving Incarnum without test material.
What?
A
do you mean,
pound
like-
of flesh.
Test material? So you're saying we need part of her body for you to do this?
Oh, no, the body we can simply create. That's just combining elements.
Then what is the test material you need for Incarnum?
I was gonna say the net number of people it takes to bring back one person is more than one. Yeah.
Oh,
Wait. So every time you bring me back,
do you want me to keep elaborating, or you tend to become angry when I talk about my work?
are you murdering
You gaslighting
People?
bastard.
every time
It's called sacrificing.
you bring me back?
Oh.
I'll say it again out of character. If at any point in time this is like way too far, let me know, because this Gray is not a good person. But
He lives in a gray area.
correct.
Ah.
And it's getting darker all the time.
Yeah.
We call him dark gray.
Oh, that's good. This is, well, if it was easy and had little cost, people wouldn't do it.
Everyone
Or
would do
people
it.
would do it.
Yeah. I would say that I would also encourage you not to do it. For me. Okay, let me be more clear, Gray. You are not allowed to bring me back again. You are not allowed to murder more people just to bring me back again. Okay?
Here's the thing. The resources are already in place.
What does that
So
mean?
at this point, it would just be a waste of potential.
What does that mean, Gray?
The process is near instantaneous and therefore has to be already set before it's triggered.
So you pre-murdered these people, is what you're telling me.
That's one way to look at it, yes.
How many more lives have you pre-murdered for already, Gray?
Enough for 11 more of you.
And there's already been 11 or 12, right? Didn't we?
She was the first one we met was 13.
Okay, and there's
I
been
think Bella right now is number 12. And there are 11 bodies left in the lab. Am
I
right
was
on that?
just wondering, who
So
was
it-
the original person who decided to wipe Bella's memories? Bella or Gray?
I mean, Bella, if Gray can be trusted.
She's pulling a Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So sorry, it's 13 in total, or like
That we know of.
There
That we
were
know.
11 more potential Bella clones that exist.
but
No,
we only
she'd
think-
already lived many lives before we got to she
Yeah.
was the 13th,
Yes.
Yes.
So I guess
counting
So-
down number
Yes.
13.
but
So
yeah,
the 12th clone.
Mhm.
Assuming there were 24 to begin with.
yeah, that's what I was. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
That's the number I wanted.
There you go. Okay. I did not know.
Here's the-
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. So Odette and Valen and Itzel all died and were taken, like, we were in like a misty realm or something like that, and then we were
Mhm.
taken by Sunshine and Dusty.
Correct.
That didn't happen to Bella.
Correct.
Yeah,
She
'cause
did
Bella
go
was
to the
trapped in-
room.
she was trapped in a tube. Yeah, that was the first.
She did go to the room with us, but walking through the bright light, she disappeared.
Mhm.
Yeah. So if we only get one of those per life because it wasn't supposed to happen because of our mantles, that kind of
Oh.
already happened to. That did not happen to Bella. she might still have basically like an instant res.
An extra cosmic interference.
Well, in that case, didn't she come back with the mud body? In that case, I thought it was a different one where.
No, I
did.
briefly woke up in a tube, but then yes, came back in the mud body as well.
So that one didn't count.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about this, and it did not. So she still has something left over. Because
So you're
her
saying I have
mantle-
12 reses
Bingo.
if we include
Yeah,
the
but-
prepayment plan.
But you may not have 12 bodies left.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah, because like
Yeah,
we
you-
also when we got put in our original bodies, like post mud person, because the
Yeah,
mud
we
person
didn't
was
have
just
clones.
like
she
our
just
bodies
have to-
weren't clones, so
She
she
didn't
would
have
still
clones?
have to. She could be resurrected, but she'd still have to go back to a body.
You'd have to find her body. Yeah.
Yes,
And then mud meld with it, if you will.
or
So.
yeah, or carry her in another vessel that can contain a soul. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So anyway,
No, that's all. Those are all very good insights.
Mm.
Yeah. So Greg says, or Gray says, so honestly, it would just be a waste. What? That's
And there's no way to just release those
well,
souls?
That's a
they,
good question.
they could be released.
So
I
that
can't
they can
say.
at least like rest?
I mean, they weren't good people.
You don't know what that is, Gray. You don't judge that. Uh-uh.
Well, probably happier where they are than in some layer of the nine hells or being tormented in pandemonium. But if you want to release them, I suppose we could.
All right. When we finish this and actually have time to get to your lab, we are going to release all of them. And you are going to stop bringing me back from the dead. Okay? And you and I will finally just be done. You said the whole thing was just to be here long enough to take care of Zengi, so there won't be a point anymore, and you and I can just be done.
We can be done.
Okay. Good. Going to bed.
You just kind of feel him like nod.
Yeah.
Okay. The next morning.
By the way, if I keep looking around or if I have to get up suddenly, I'm pretty sure one of the cats is actually secretly hiding in my room because I all of a sudden heard squeaking.
Secret cat.
So if they emerge, I might have to get up to let them out of.
If you definitely
My
didn't
room.
hear it from in your room, they've been making sounds on this end. From
It
like,
could be.
yeah, so
It
just
could be my room.
okay.
I have a shadow
Yes.
looming over my shoulder because I kicked her out of the lap.
I have
Oh.
I have
Yes, I
a
was
different
talking
one.
about you. Hello.
Yeah, there we go. We have the other black and white kitty in the lap. Yeah, you're not as.
Oh.
She's like, oh,
Protest.
excuse me, I'm not the other one. I don't like being held that way. Yes, I'm sorry.
All right, so we go to bed.
Yep.
We have wonderful, pleasant dreams.
Yes, every single one of us.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Or at the very least, you don't dream, which is nice.
Oh, hello.
The next morning.
And in the morning, Valen tries out his brewing kit again to make a second potion.
All right. Regular potion.
Regular potion, burning a spell
Okay.
slot.
Yeah. And you're able to make one more basic healing potion.
I guess using a spell slot.
Yeah.
And going down to the breakfast with everyone, where he normally makes the huge buffet and has the breakfast beers, he has 2 to-go breakfast beers for Rouge and or for Bella and
Itzel? Odette?
no, Odette. Thank you. Mind blanking. Because Itzel can take a hit. We know this. So it's
a
like, look,
tank.
all right, I'm trying these out. I made magic beer. They're like healing potions. Just keep it in the bag in case of emergency.
Excellent.
Is this an alcoholic healing potion?
I'm not making non-alcoholic. Let's be fair. So you can, in the middle of battle, take a knee and quaff for 2d4 plus 4 hit points as a bonus action. Or you can actually pop the top and concentrate on drinking the whole bottle to just take the max of 12.
And that would be a regular action.
That would be a regular action.
So bonus action, hope it gets in.
The dwarven method of drinking beer. Most of it lands in the mouth, some on the beard, some behind you.
Yep.
Gotcha. It reminds me of Airplane and the guy with the drinking problem.
Yep.
Yes. God, I love that movie.
If every time we do a bonus action to drink a potion, if we can get an animation up on the screen.
Get a gif of that, yeah.
That would fucking rock.
I'll get right on it.
Odette looks at Valen pointedly and looks at this. I don't know how big the beer is. It's like
I'm figuring it's like it's one of those it's one of those home brewer like pop tops on a swivel. Yeah,
I like it. And she just looks at. Is it dark? Is it clear so we can see the liquid? Or
I would say the bottle is probably clear. The beer is dark. Mm-hmm. This is priest beer. Like, I need to fast for a month, but I'm just going to drink beer the whole time and survive on it.
She just looks at it and she says, "All right." Not what I was expecting this morning. And I usually drink wine, but she puts it away in her pack. She's like, "Thank you. You've been sitting on this your entire time?"
No, this is new. I'm trying this out. These are my first 2. They're fine, though, I swear. I've been making beer for years. I just learned how to bless it.
Oh. You weren't lying. This is sacred beer.
Yes. This is holy beer.
I will be very careful with it. Thank you, my friend. It does come... Actually, this brings up a good point. We have accrued a number of enchanted items. I don't think we are utilizing all of them, but I've been waiting for a moment to divide up what I pulled off of Chantel. And perhaps this is a good moment to see what would benefit some of our skills, or maybe enhance them, maybe make up for something that you lack.
Right now, I'm wearing the Cloak of Protection. Gives me a bonus to AC and saves. Other than that, it's just my armor, my shield, my sword, and I have 2 rings with the one now that lets me not eat or drink, and my Get Down, Mr. President ring.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I do highly recommend someone take the Cloak of Grace, because advantage on your initiative is very helpful.
Yeah. My Sentinel Shield already does that. But yes, somebody else should definitely take that. Now, I know that Odette has her badass Cloak of Shadows, right?
I have a scarf that Cole made.
Oh.
In the light of the full moon, while worshiping Elestre. So she's probably going to hold on to that. But the Cloak of Grace, she says, "This is Cloak of Grace. Itzel, Bella, I know you are often upset that Val and I typically just run out and mess up any of your calculations for your spells. This might help."
Now, Bella has a cloak that rumor says lets her turn into a bat.
Allegedly, yeah, we've never seen it. We don't even know if that magic works.
Allegedly.
Itzel's cloak has like cloak of protection bonus and then some other like elementally stuff. So I'm not like especially because it's got a like what's it called? A spell slot associated with it effectively.
Oh.
So I kind of like not going first in initiative because it means that I can react to your crap. So
to handle you.
Yeah, like so this is fine. It also helps kind of keep me out of the way from like the area effect things of both Odette's shadow and your like I mean sometimes the aura is helpful, but that doesn't mean I have to go before you because then I know where it is. So initiative doesn't bother me necessarily.
I believe it's Bella who usually has the I go after literally everyone.
But that's fine. What am I going to do if I go first?
Kill someone so they don't get a turn.
Yeah, like decimate a bunch of people in an AoE.
Yeah, given your ability wise, initiative going before things is not a problem. Yeah, because it's not like you're going to be not judging. You're not going to be like healing somebody after they get hit. So yeah,
Yeah,
not
you want to
judging,
soften them up.
Quick and maximize Eldritch Blast, and then turn around and throw an AoE.
Yeah.
Please.
The thing I live in fear of.
I would say, as somebody who's been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate, dropping Hex and then hitting him with both barrels of an Eldritch Blast is the perfect way to start a fight. But it is up to you if you want to wait to see what people are going to do first. What does the cloak you have do now other than the bat form? Is that what gives you, makes it so that undead have to roll before they're allowed to hit you?
No, that's just a thing I do inherently.
Yeah.
Cloak of the Bat, you have advantage on dexterity stealth checks. Like as if I've been remembering that. In an area of dim light or darkness, you can grip the edges of the cloak with both hands and use it to fly at a speed of 40 feet. If you ever fail to grip the cloak's edges while flying in this way, or if you are no longer in dim light or darkness, you lose this flying speed. And then while wearing the cloak in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use your action to cast Polymorph on yourself, transforming into a bat. While you are in the form of the bat, you retain your intelligence, wisdom, and charisma scores. The cloak can't be used this way again until next dawn.
You have literally never used a single one of those.
Not a single one! It just never feels like the right time, all right?
Yeah.
You have 99 elixirs.
I have all these mega elixirs. Yeah, I can't use one. I might need it.
I've been getting all this stuff. Clearly, I'm going to need it when it gets really hard later on. That's why I've got to save it now.
You're not wrong. The finale is going to be stupid.
I also, while we're remembering things that I've picked up that we've literally never spoken of again, the wristwatch with time transmutation powers. Twice per day, cast a spell, pick a target, roll 50-50, and it will either cast slow or haste on that target.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Got that in session -1.
Yeah,
session 0.
That's broken, and their family is here in Waterdeep, right?
Right.
We were gonna return it.
Waterdeep. We should do that. Yes. So the Cloak of the Bat feels like if you really needed to do those things,
give up the bat cloak.
Like, well, as in, like we could keep it in, like, I mean,
I need to stealth. Give me the cloak.
Yeah, pretty much, or like polymorph into a bat to like avoid being detected as a person, but like then bottom line, like you probably use me for that.
I need to reach that thing really high on a shelf. Hold on a minute.
Yeah, or like just not appear as a human in this shadowy thing right now. I mean, yeah, like it sounds good. My instinct is that that's better for utility than it is for combat. So
it's occasional use.
And none of the things that it does could we not do with other people.
Yeah.
Look, I'm saving it for my eventual showdown with Guy.
Yeah.
When you will have a dim place that you can polymorph into a bat with its like 2 hit points or whatever, like
You can have a little bat as a treat.
We have bats at home.
But I would recommend you wear this cloak in the meantime.
All
Yeah,
right.
do it.
What's this cloak? The Cloak of Grace?
Yep.
Yes.
Look up
Gives you
grace.
advantage on initiative checks.
Shortest.
Alright.
That's it.
sentence.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nothing else.
There's there's a pearl of power.
Yes.
You can use an action to speak the command word, regain 1 expended spell slot. If the expended spell slot was a 4th level or higher, the new slot is 3rd level. So it sounds like you get 3rd level, or if you expended anything, it's 3rd level or below, basically.
Yeah.
It sounds
don't
useful to
think-
warlocks because their spell slots have no level.
Bingo. So I think
I haven't been using my Warlock stuff, though, as much because now
Usually,
I have Eldritch Blast and all of my sorcery stuff. So I've mostly ended up using sorcery spells more recently.
You can pull
but
back
you
sorcery
can
spells
also
too.
Still
interchange them. You can
Mhm.
interchange them. You can.
Yeah, I was just saying I'm not,
Mhm.
I don't think it's more useful for me than it would be for any other spellcaster in the group.
I do think you have the
Probably-
least amount of spell slots.
Probably.
Like I
but-
could absolutely use it, but I have a lot of slots for different levels, and I already have my channel divinity to get back a spell slot. So it would be less useful for me, or less necessary for me. I don't know.
Let's see.
All right, I get it. I suck. I'll take all the power
Yeah.
upgrades.
No,
Oh my
no,
God.
this is just gonna make you cooler and more powerful.
We need to defeat the tank. Or not the tank, the cannon.
Speaking of the tank, hey, you want to go quicker, Valen, with some dancing shoes? Who wants to go quicker? So it would
What,
not make
what
sense
kind of
for
shoes?
Odette.
The
Okay,
dancing
so
shoes.
What kind of
uh,
shoes?
what happens is, as a bonus action,
What happened was
Wahapan is the PC can begin dancing with a bonus action, and you increase your speed by 10 feet. For every round that the player continues to use their bonus action to dance, their speed increases for an additional 10 feet, up to 50 feet.
up to
If you
plus
take
50.
damage,
Up to plus
stop.
50.
Plus
Yeah.
50. So probably 80
you-
for most people. Yeah.
So you don't have to do this in combat. You can, but it helps in combat. But I often have something that I need to do with bonus action, and I'm pretty fast as it is. So it would probably be beneficial if somebody else took this.
No, imagining a paladin in full armor ballet dancing mid combat. No, he would absolutely be river dancing across the battlefield.
Yes.
It's very loud.
Clank, clank, clank,
armor,
smash.
in the armor, which it has an armored kilt around it. He's not stealthy, but he would be very, very quickly river dancing. And I'm down for this. I'll take it.
Yeah, take it.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. All right, and then we have the vicious dagger, which we kind of went over a little bit. +1 Kukri dagger, base damage 2d6, necrotic. On a nat 20, the damage, so the dagger does an extra d6 equal to your proficiency modifier. So that's at this level a +5d6. I don't think I need this, but also then there's this vicious attack ability. We discussed it before. You do damage, but also you take that damage.
like if no one wants the dagger, I'll take
I
it just so
mean-
that I have something I can be using until I'm proficient in my rapier. But I will literally never use the ability Vicious Strike because I cannot survive that.
So the what's it called?
Vicious dagger?
Rapiers are one-handed, right?
Yes.
So now,
What
both-
dual wield?
well,
You
that's
could
what I'm saying.
dual
Like
wield-
both you and I now have
The main
a
gauche.
one-handed weapon.
Mm.
Because I'm also picking up the shotel as a rapier, right? So, like either one of us can have it as the offhand.
Well, here's a question: Can the dagger be thrown?
It's a dagger.
It can be thrown. I will argue that the Nat 20 ability still goes off, but you can't use the Vicious Strike while it's thrown.
All right, that's fine. It's is it still just a dex attack to throw?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Is it a bonus action to use an offhand action?
Yes, provided you as part of a main attack, right? So if you do your action to attack, you can use a bonus action to chuck an offhand weapon or make an offhand attack.
Yeah.
If it's any other action, you can't use your bonus action to that attack unless you have a specific ability for that.
Yeah.
It's still, I think it just still doesn't quite fit for me. I don't think. Like, I'm happy to hold it unless you want to keep it as your offhand, or if Bella, if you want to use it as a last ditch.
Yeah, for me, it's really only ever going to get used if I am somehow in melee, which should not be happening. So that's why it's like, I'll take it if literally no one else wants it, but I feel like someone else would get more use out of it.
I don't think I'm gonna
Unless
get
you guys all have better weapons already.
Well,
I'm
I
not
want
gonna
Itzel
get
to take it because I know that you have a few levels of rogue, and I'd love to see you
Yes.
take a level of swashbuckler.
Yeah, I mean, Itzel was the first person I was
yeah.
thinking of, especially since it's kukri style. That's kind of more Itzel's speed anyway.
Absolutely.
Yeah, basically, should I hit something melee wise, this would be more useful for me. Yeah, I'm not like, because I've got the rapier now instead of the staff. I am fine with this because like
Sounds good.
the roguey bits would make that fun.
Hell yeah.
There is the only last three, and I think I want to keep at least one of them. We have a Ring of Feather Falling, which helped me save Yosef. We have the Hat of Disguise.
To think I was going to just chuck him off a balcony and let him die in session 1.
And now look at everything that has happened because we managed to keep him alive.
So much
so
more
great.
Yeah.
Saved parents. So Hat of Disguise and Ring of Warmth.
I'm
I
good.
don't know if you're good. The only thing I can think of is like maybe the Ring of Warmth would be a little extra, like resist cold damage for me. But
yeah, how many rings do everybody have right now? With the one that gives us don't need to eat or drink, I now have 2, which I think one on each hand is what we're supposed to do.
Correct.
Yeah, that makes 2 for me as well.
I don't think I have any rings right now, so
Yeah.
I have a necklace.
I mean, you have 1 now.
Yes, sorry.
I have 3 in total. So I have the Sustenance Ring, and then Ring of Warmth, Ring of Featherfall.
So one of those you could give to Itzel, and then everybody would have 2.
Do you want one over the other, Itzel?
I don't particularly feel like I need Featherfall like that. Yeah.
Okay. You want the Ring of Warmth?
Sure.
Hell yeah.
Do it.
There we
and
go.
then we have a Hat of Disguise. I can just keep that for a rainy day.
Sure.
Yeah.
I would.
Does anyone want the Cloak of the Bat, by the way, since you've successfully convinced me I don't need to be wearing it?
Put it in
I
the bag.
feel like we just keep it in the bag, and you never know.
Well, while we're redistributing.
Does it just give you a flat bonus to stealth? Or is that
advantage on stealth?
Yeah.
In shadows.
Like, honestly, if anyone was going to wear it, I'd feel like it should be Odette because it's all, like, shadow powers and you aren't currently wearing a cloak, so it would only add to what you've currently got.
Give it to Bon Bon.
Oh my god, Bon Bon is a little furry bat.
It's the cat in the little tiny cloak? Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not opposed to it.
So that when Bon Bon goes into battle with us, she has advantage on hiding, so she doesn't get hit again.
Yeah, Bon Bon is a sentient creature who knows how to wield magic. It's well within parameters.
Totally up to you.
Yeah. Some hints on how to use it are stuff like it's good for like eavesdropping, spying, etc., as opposed to combat related. So, if anyone could think of like wanting to also be able to use it for that.
I mean, I'm all about shadow stuff. I don't know if I can wear it with the scarf.
Okay, the
That
scarf is
takes
sort
the
of
place
I don't
replacing.
think
Got it. Okay,
Yeah, because the
Okay.
scarf is a cloak.
that's fine.
the scarf is a cloak.
While we're again double checking what everybody should have, does someone currently has the sandals of swiftness? Correct.
Sandals of.
I just took them.
Swiftness, not the dancing
no.
shoes.
Oh no. Okay, then no.
No, what
In
are
session 0, we got sandals of swiftness that were plus 5 feet movement.
I don't
At one
think
point,
I did.
Odette was like, "Oh, I'll take that or the javelin."
I took
and
the
yeah, and
javelin.
obviously you had the javelin.
And sold the javelin.
Mm-hmm.
What are you wearing for shoes now? Odette.
Oh, me? Oh, I'm sorry. Like, who are you wearing? I'm,
Yes.
I am currently serving slippers of spider climbing. So
Mhm.
that
Dancing
allows
slippers
me
of spider
to.
climb.
Yeah, they look pretty neat. So
So they let
these
you
are
walk
like
on walls. That sounds real
I
handy.
can walk on walls. I can walk on the ceiling,
Tightrope
and
walk. Ah.
climbing speed is equal to my walking speed. So I am very fast at climbing at this point.
Yes, that's handy.
Eventually, this won't exactly be. I eventually get a shadow dancer ability that allows me to like run across walls and like ponds and ice. So this will only just kind of like add to it, I think. And also, if I go on like stealth missions, I can like just walk on the ceiling quietly.
Okay.
So that's who I'm wearing.
Itzel, what do you got on your feet?
Regular boots. So I do not mind taking sandals of swiftness. That is fine.
Which
That's-
we,
can
you know,
adjust.
I started digging into my bag of tricks and I found all this stuff that we
Yeah,
forgot we
apparently.
had.
Just take. Let me have magic
Speaking
sandals.
of-
Where do these come from?
Speaking of, hey guys, I totally forgot I had a bag of tricks. Haven't used it since Corey.
Oh, Corey.
Ah, Corey. So just making sure everything else also bracers of defense +1. Is someone got those on?
Yes, I have the bracers of defense.
Okay. The staff of healing, is that the staff you are just swapping out
yeah,
now?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Potion of diminution?
Oh, like making yours diminishing you?
It's the
I
alchemy
believe
potion.
so.
Yeah.
Make yourself tiny.
I mean, I have a lot of stealth things. I don't know if that would help me.
You drink it
But-
as a bat. Get tinier.
Smaller bat.
Fit through cracks in the wall. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not for me unless nobody wants it.
Nah.
All right, keep it in inventory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's everything that we had gotten at the time.
You'll have a dumb
Um,
amount of magical shit.
We
Yeah.
do.
We do.
And I don't, if we've gotten stuff throughout, we haven't been keeping as good notes as we did for session 0, so we might have gotten stuff that
We've
we have
just been
forgotten
putting it
about,
on.
but
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a
I
lot of
don't
it is
think we have
also
any other.
a lot of it's also in individual channels of like specific gear that people have bought or gone after, versus like the loot channel was just here's shit, divide accordingly.
yeah.
I don't think there's anything else that's unaccounted for.
Yeah.
Yep, I think that's it.
Um,
All right. I'm going to take Mortimer over to the temple to talk to Father Stone.
cool. I'm going to make, for the sake of time, I'm going to make some things a little easier, right?
I am going to remind people, though, that I do still have my scroll of Revivify from the original dungeon, session 0,
Scroll.
so...
I thought you said squirrel of Revivify, and I was like,
I have the Revivify scroll!
It's a very helpful familiar.
It bites you. And you wake up.
It's like, ow! Stop! I'm alive.
Little bastard.
Um,
And then hisses and leaves.
I would like Valen, do me a favor and make 2 rolls for me. All right.
Okay.
One is a religion check. This is gonna be-
My favorite.
well, I'm going to give you the modifiers for Father Stone and for Mortimer instead. Right.
Okay.
So Father Stone is a plus 12.
That would be a 30 then.
Okay. Damn. And Mortimer is also the same boat of plus 12 for Arcane.
That would be a 24.
Okay.
Damn.
And you want to know about the lantern?
They're very good at this. Yes. Can you tell us more specifics about how the lantern works? Why wouldn't she be able to use it to get home? And how can we use it to drag her home?
So you link up with Father Stone and Mortimer, and they dig through archives, right? Because they had some archives in Neverwinter. The trouble was you were pressed for time, and so when he originally told you about the lantern, is when the city was being sieged, and we're like, hey,
Yeah.
we don't have time to sit here and go through all these books,
Yeah.
which hopefully are still hidden and not destroyed, right?
Hopefully.
Given time and resources now, they're able to effectively identify that the lantern has its own will, persona, agenda, right?
Yay.
The reason why the Church of Tempest stopped effing with it and locked it up was because as people tried to find ways to destroy it, continuous interactions with it would take people random places, right? And they would have to recover them. Sometimes on the material plane, sometimes elsewhere.
Like some kind of quantum leap.
Yes.
Hoping that
Because
the next leap would take them home.
they would assume they could exert.
That's Metzley right now.
Yep. Just leaping from dimension to dimension, trying to get home. It was designed for use in the Shadowfell. So the idea is that it has perfect mapping of that plane, right? If you have that item, you can go wherever you want. Like, there's never a question of you being lost. It does not work that way on other planes, but it does let you access them, right? The recorded information shows that the lantern, given the opportunity, will try to go to new places, and they think it's actually mapping.
It's a Google Maps drone. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But they don't know what is complete. But there's records of like where people have been pulled from to include other places on the material plane.
If we were in the Shadowfell and able to contact Metzley to tell her where we were, she should be able to come to us easily.
Yes, assuming that she is driving and not the lantern, because the issue is that people will pick this lantern up and be like, I will use you to navigate. And the lantern's like, the fuck you will. We're going where I want to go. And then they disappear, and the church has to spend 6 months finding them.
Is there any way that we could see where it has mapped in the Shadowfell so we could go someplace new and interesting?
As far as I understand, it's mapped the entire thing.
Great.
So, because that's where it came from.
We're going to need Itzel to overpower a will of a magic item.
The specific, and that's why she's making will saves when she picked it up.
That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, they know it was made in the Shadowfell. They don't know who made it, but they know that it's stronger there, and they know that it is got perfect mapping of that area, and they know it's trying to map other places. And if people pick it up and they are not prepared for it, it will just simply be like, cool, I'm driving you now to where I need to go.
So its will is stronger in the Shadowfell. Could it change to a different plane from the Shadowfell of its own volition?
Theoretically, yes.
So we know she's there right now,
mm-hmm.
and we know that she would be using her will to try to stay there.
Yes.
Okay.
The other piece is that theorized. This comes from Mortimer. Since it is a item that has been created in the Shadowfell, and then barred from that location for quite some time, this could be a re-energizing or refamiliarization phase.
It's charging itself with energy from its home plane. Okay.
Because it's been locked away from negative energy for the church records say a couple hundred years.
Yeah, we
So-
were keeping that shit in a Faraday cage. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably getting stronger and doing whatever the hell it's supposed to do.
Okay.
No
This is
record.
useful info.
No record of it directly talking to people. It just seizes control of their bodies and takes them places.
Oh, my lift is here. Good.
Yep. It's like, thanks. It just walks off.
Self-driving cars.
Yeah. So
All right.
that's
This is
basically
good
the
to know.
information they have on it. Yeah, it can be contained with magic. Anything that will shut down magical connections or charm or possession spells, giving resistance to that makes it easier to kind of fight back against it.
Good to know.
Things like what do you call it? Things like dispel magic will temporarily dispel effects, but they will resume unless the item's destroyed.
Okay. I can work with this. These are all good paladin info.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank them both. Get back to the group.
Yep.
Anybody else want to do something? Moving this train along.
We need to pick up our items. That
Yes.
was kind
Those
of
are
the
easy
next
enough.
bit.
You're able to go through and pick them up.
Cool.
I was curious to see if you decided to randomly fight the people that were, potentially watching you, but you did not.
Random person in the street, come with me.
Yeah.
I'm just an extra. I mean, I'm just here.
I'm a background extra. They said watch these people.
Aha.
Are they still following us as we go to pick up our magical items?
Go ahead and roll perception again.
Yeah, let's do this. It's bothering me.
Now that I know what to look for. What on earth are you? You threw a mouse on the floor. Thank you, Bunny. 16, I think. 13 plus 5. 18.
Okay.
24.
24. Valen, you don't seem to see it as much. Like, you're still alert, but nothing stands out. Odette, you kind of don't see any people that grab your attention, but you got that hair on the back of your neck. Like, there's still someone. Maybe I'm just convincing myself this is here, but like, there's something feels off. But
Someone's keeping an eye on us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lug Cole along. She lets him know what happened, like with the casino, or like he was there, but I think she's like just keep an ear perked.
I'll keep a nose out.
All right.
I'm just picturing you two as stars of the theater having a code word for I have a stalker.
Have you had any Merlot lately? I feel like we need some Merlot.
Claws come out. Where's he at? Cool.
But he doesn't notice anything either, I'm assuming.
No more than what you would notice. Like, it's hard to concretely pin it down, but there's definitely a vibe that somebody's keeping an eye on you.
Cool. I would kind of like really quick check in on my parents and just let them know like the situation with Chantel, and if they thought she was a cool person before, she quickly dispels all of those notions and then points at what she did in the battle. Yeah.
Your parents are already impressed by how you fought. That's already stated by your mother. This additional information is just icing on that cake. Go ahead and roll knowledge history. They have a. Hold on.
Wait, will they inspire me?
They also have a plus. They have plus 13.
Oh, you know what? I inspire them. And yeah. Can I inspire and guide? I can't, can I? No, one or the other.
I'll give you one.
You said plus 13?
Yeah.
Not bad. That's a 30 total.
Yep, that'll do it. you sit and have tea with them for a little bit, and or some wine, I think, and I think they talk about, everything that happened the night before, and like, was it sorry, 2 nights ago, and like the chaos that's ensued, and like make sure you're okay. And they spend some time getting to know Cole, and they're actually quite receptive. Your dad is usually pretty straightforward. Your mom is the one who can be a little more hard to impress, right?
Mm-hmm.
But she after seeing everything that went down the other day is pretty inspired by how you and Cole work together. So you don't sense any of that like judgment that you would usually get from her.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're definitely meeting standards, if not above them.
She
Right?
feels pretty good about that.
Yeah. As
Um,
the conversation turns to politics, the thing that comes up is that your parents start to talk about the kind of the darker side of Waterdeep, right, and the things that they've seen. And they don't go into a lot of details about what anything they did specifically, but they are able to confirm like there is a mass council of Waterdeep. There are people who have control of this city who are not out in the open. It's been that way since the city was founded. The council in the open has a lot of power, and they can do great things for the city, but they are checked by other people who have more control. Um, it is unclear who's currently leading the mass council. They do a very good job hiding their identities. There's a rumor, though, that whoever is in charge is an incredibly powerful magical being. And there's some stories, some hyperbole, but it's hard to pin down. Because anyone who's ever seen this thing has either never returned or has come back with conflicting stories.
and she asked, like, neither of you have gone to meet this creature, however.
No, too dangerous. And it wouldn't. We're not, we're not on his radar, and that's good.
I, I would expect both of you, neither of you, to be on his radar, of course.
Um,
So,
the other concern they bring up is that
mhm.
the council, specifically the mass council, will do anything in its power to ensure that Waterdeep continues to thrive and survive. And they stress, like, if they think that Waterdeep will lose this war, the council will stop their support. Like the I'll use the word shadow government, right?
Mhm.
Will effectively find ways to stop that, to reconsolidate power in Waterdeep, to ensure that they can't possibly be taken if it's too much of a risk to overextend themselves.
So
And they
we
would they
need
would
to.
let Neverwinter burn to make sure Waterdeep survives. So that is a massive concern because at a certain point, um, the goodwill and support of the Open Council is checked and limited. Right.
I see. Even more a reason to see if we cannot push and get advantage before we lose it. And what do you think of this offer for whoever these dark figures are to take care of Chantel? She is evil. She is terrible. I am unsure if she deserves death, but she has done, and she like explains everything that happened to Azalana because they knew him too. It's like I am unsure of what to do, but if she is left alone and there are other conspiring forces that would take advantage of her, or she would take advantage, she can wreak a lot of havoc.
Your father speaks up at this and says, that choice specifically is one that you and your friends as the wrong party would have to make about Chantel. But there's a bigger picture. Going down that route gives you an opportunity to peek behind the curtain of Waterdeep and see what's happening in the shadows. And well, that doesn't come without cost, because once you start moving in those circles, well, you become known. And other people may want things from you or want to harm you.
Especially if they ask you for a promise and you are unable to deliver.
Mm-hmm. But it's a foot in the door to see who's pulling the strings kind of in the dark. Something to consider.
Thank you. Thank you for your insight, Father, Mother. Cole will remain here. It is too difficult and dangerous, but not for me. Do not worry.
You actually see your mom for the first time in this conversation shoot you a judgmental look when you say that.
Oh, not for me.
Now, when you say Cole will remain here because it's too difficult and dangerous, she actually shoots you a kind of like half a second, just kind of gives you a like, oh, so you got this partner who's got your back, but you're not going to. Okay, I'm not going to say anything.
Oh no, okay, right. And she catches it and she says, "It is a conversation that we had, and we agree. I may have the grace to be able to return. It is difficult, even in a city like this of wonders and magic, to return from the dead. But I may have that grace, Mom."
And she like this little, and Cole says, I'll get a chance to spend some more time with you guys and get to know you. So I think that'll be fun, right? And there's like just like some silence, and then your dad goes, "Actually, yes, I think that would be a lot of fun."
I think you are all artists. We are all artists. I think we have a lot to learn. He may even be able to show you a little bit of what we both know about shadow dancing. He's the only other person aside from Alora who has mastered it. I've been trying to teach the rest of the theater. It has not manifested the way I thought I wanted to. But he will also be helping Yosef. You know Yosef pretty well, right?
We're familiar with this series, yes.
Perhaps the four of you could consult and find ways for us to take back Neverwinter. But thank you. Thank you. Thank you for everything, and it's so good to see you.
Hugs all around, and not polite ones, genuine hugs, right? And
finish what you're going to say, but I'm also like, what does this place look like?
Oh, so to answer the question, who has more money? Right.
I was just curious for a world building aspect. Like, what are we leaning for here?
A world building aspect. Here's the thing. So you get like, by comparison, USS Manor is nice. It's large, but it's not like it was decorated by somebody that was clearly paid to do the decorating, right? Like the manor itself is an archaeological or a nope.
Architectural.
Architectural, thank you.
That's
It's
the one.
architectural beauty, right? Because it was designed by them. But like the internal decorating in terms of like the rugs and like the paintings and stuff was like done probably by an interior designer, right? It looks nice. Your parents, however, um, their house is just filled with like rich antiquities, right? There's like beautiful collections of everything from like sculptures to paintings to like musical instruments and cases, and there's just room for entertaining, and it seems built to be constantly filled with lively people uh, and energetic events, right? Like, your parents have a ballroom. Like, they will host galas and parties, right? But beyond that, like, people will just come over and like perform, um, just because it's a very artistic community that likes to um, show off to one another, right? They like to show their skills and show them to people who truly appreciate them, right? It's less of a one-upsmanship and more of a like, hey, look at this cool thing I do on the harp, and someone goes, wow, I have enough musical understanding to know that that is an incredibly complicated piece that you have played, and I see the work and effort that goes into this. So aside from someone going like, oh yeah, it's nice music, So
The equivalent of sharing memes with your friends.
yes, 100%. Meme culture is lit here. But yeah, so that's kind of
Relatedly, join us on our Discord.
Yep.
It's
The meme culture is lit there as well.
true.
Donate as well.
There we go. I'll do both those.
If you liked the pets you saw on stream today, see more pictures of them.
Yes. So, but that's kind of the vibe you get there, right? Rich, dark mahogany, cultured, very nice art. Cool. All right, imagine you pick up your weapons. What else?
I guess we finally returned that wristwatch.
I thought we looked into the family, and it was one of the families of the people who originally were on Zengi's design team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I thought we looked for the family like when we first got here, and they were all dead or something like that.
So
because I know I had it written down that I wanted to look them up.
You know that Sarah Lawson was a artificer that helped Zengi build the Celestial Convergence machine. You later found that watch that belonged to Benjamin Lawson.
Benjamin Lawson,
right?
Yeah.
Whose ghost was kind of trapped in that early dungeon, right? Clearly takes after his great-grandmother, great-great-grandmother, timeline to be disputed, right? But like engineering clearly runs, or artificer talent runs in their family. I'll say this because that's a slightly different thing. Yusuf can help you find the Lawson family. He can basically try to run that down while you were traveling, because on initial checks, they weren't found. Right. It's not to say they don't exist, but the idea is basically like, oh, the records of them just stop at a certain point. There's no like death certificates for family and like no loss of whatever. It's just at one point the records just were removed.
How far back is that in relation to Benjamin?
As you go back, roll me an investigate check. If anyone wants to, you can all roll as well.
So I was absolutely carrying around that you need to call this motherfucker when you get to Waterdeep for a very long time.
I was trying to look up. He said specifically what to say to his family, and I'm not seeing it in my notes at the moment.
Yeah, so that's a 6, so I'm not helpful on this one.
I have a -1. You're on mute, Rouge.
I wasn't talking to you.
Okay, that's fine.
Damn!
Didn't want to hear whatever you had to say anyway.
It was someone popping their head into my room that I was talking to. It was not related to game at all.
Bella's just yelling at Greg.
With my -1 to investigation, that gives me a 5.
Hell yeah.
I also got a 5 on investigate, so I also am not relevant to anything
Nice.
going
I
on right
got a
now.
6. So far I'm doing great.
We are so
We're
smart,
so
guys.
good.
We're
good.
gonna save the
The
world.
world.
Did I find the one skill this party can't do?
No, I have partial skill in it. I rolled a 19. That's
Okay.
a 22.
There we go.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a bonus. I just rolled shit.
So
I think Odette just like goes like talks to like old dance mates and like stuff like that and tries to gather information.
Talon's like,
The
these
message not
books don't
overdone.
have pictures.
Lawson family's reputation's decently well known in Waterdeep. They actually designed a lot of the more complex mechanical systems around like shipping and um, like transportation activities, right? Nothing like super sexy, but is vital to the lifeblood of the city, right? And has basically just greatly enhanced the ability for Waterdeep to uh, ship both over land and through ports, right? Um, about 50 years ago, the records stop, right? At some point in time, like the Lawson family just kind of fell off the grid, and nobody's really sure why. There's a lot of theories, right? There's like theories of like, you know, marital backstab or political intrigue, because their family's well enough known that they would be in those circles. There's theories that like they had a contract that they wanted to get out of in Waterdeep and simply just liquidated funds and fled. There's theories that they were threatened, right? But the bottom line is someone deliberately removed records, and they have not been on the city's radar in the last 50 years. A couple leads you could use to start hunting them down, but that would take additional time, which is something that Yusuf could be able to help you out with as some starting points.
Mhm.
So
Uh, I share that with everybody and Yosef.
We
As it
thinking
says.
witness protection, or are they on the run?
And so
I don't
that's
know.
interesting because when I first got here, I'd also tried to look into them, and yeah, it was very bizarre. It's always interesting when a large family
How bizarre.
It's always interesting when a large family simply disappears. It's never cut and dry.
I
But
see.
they had access to a lot of very sensitive and important places and technology in the city. I don't think we're the only ones looking for them. I'll see what I can find. These leads are helpful. I didn't have these previously.
And Sarah definitely didn't survive, right? Like in the with our, I want to say it was some of our information that we got from like Gray's history. Like we know that she's gone, right?
Yeah,
That was...
she escaped what happened with Zengi and sabotaged the celestial convergence machine, as he called it.
Yeah.
Which between that and Lady Laura taking the schematics and all of Zengi's research notes made it very, very difficult for him to recreate that shit.
Yes.
Like just hindered the fuck out of him. But she basically fled, and then from your investigations, eventually just died of natural causes. Right.
Okay.
'Cause she was human. Right. She can only live for so long, and this happened almost a millennia ago.
Odette has proficiency in dueling.
You want to try and fix the watch?
Could I fix it, or could I convince maybe Yosef to fix it?
I'll have Joseph help you and give you advantage on it.
Sorry, what I heard you say first was dueling, not jewelry. And I was
Also
like,
that.
what the f does that have to do with it?
Going to duel this wristwatch into
Dueling.
submission.
It's time to duel. Had to be-
What do you
joke had to be
want?
made.
I'm like, no, that's right, jewelry, right, jewelry.
Yeah.
What
What
do
is
you
it?
want
What
for
is
your
the old line?
birthday?
A man
I love it.
a man with a watch knows what time it is. A man with two is never sure.
That's good. Yeah, I will say Yusuf has plenty of equipment to try and repair stuff. You have jewelry experience, which is something he doesn't, right? Working like the fine mechanics and watch springs and stuff like that. I think the two of you together can try to work on that. It wouldn't take absurdly long.
What would I add to that roll? My proficiency bonus, and that's it?
It'll be proficiency plus intelligence for jewelry making,
All right.
and then Yusuf gives you advantage.
Got it. So I rolled a 19. I guided myself, so that's +2. That's 21. 26 with proficiency, and I have no intelligence bonus.
Okay.
So 26. She sits there sweating
Um,
because it's
I think-
a time machine.
thing is, Valen heads out to talk to Father Stone, right? And I think Itzel and Bella run out and pick up some equipment, right? And you kind of have that conversation with your family and circle back. You and Yusef start to really get to work, right? It takes a couple hours, and there's a few moments where like there are some very delicate components to this thing, when he's like, okay, like you've got a pair of like, what do you call it, like magnifying glasses on that you're looking at, and you've got like some just basically like tweezers to kind of move stuff around, and he's like, okay, that piece right there, okay, yeah.
The red one or the blue
yeah.
one?
The next to it, the gray spring with the that can't come out. If it comes out when you go to make this repair, it will actually, the whole thing will simply fall apart.
They call these things complications. I see why now.
Normally it wouldn't matter, but I think that's, we don't want an arcane dispersal.
She looks at him with frightened eyes.
Like, I mean,
Okay.
it should stay in the workshop, but it's not like the arcane tower. There's this way more. We're fine.
Okay.
Just, you have steady hands. You got this. And then like there's a dramatic moment where you hear like a click and the spring moves a bit, and you're able to kind of put pressure on it and go, and then lay back one of the gears into place, and you hear the watch start ticking, and able to like reattach the spring, put the back plate back on, and the watch starts ticking.
Woohoo.
Good. Thank you. I think I may have taken 3 entire breaths in the entirety of fixing that.
He like wipes the sweat off of his forehead and is like, you did all the work. I mean, this fine mechanics like this are not my forte. I prefer bigger things, but well done. And just like kind of high fives you. Well done, my friend.
Thank you.
I'm sure you can put that to good use.
Thank you so much.
So, since it is fixed, you can now choose which effect takes place. Haste or slow.
Does Odette want to hang on to the wristwatch then?
I would have to look at it. She'll keep it for the moment, but we'll give it to whoever absolutely like needs it. So yeah.
Well, it's just you get to pick a target and either cast slow or haste on them.
Mhm.
Slow or haste? Oh,
Yeah, that's
shit.
all. So before it was random. Fixing it means now you get to choose between the two effects. What happens?
Oh,
Yep.
she'll keep it for the moment unless you absolutely need it. Would
And,
you be able to use your sorcery points with this?
I don't think so because this is an item, not like one of my spells. So I
Yeah.
don't think the way sorcery points apply
Okay.
would work on items.
I was
No.
gonna say if you could double like twin spell haste on Valentine.
Now,
Go, my monkeys, fly!
Is this
If you-
full action or bonus action to use this?
that's a full action. Yeah.
A full.
Hmm.
Now, if you use it on yourself, remember, you use an action to give yourself haste, and you still get a regular action
Correct.
as your second.
Mhm.
And we don't know how long it lasts, is the other thing. That was not.
Haste is typically 10 rounds.
Okay.
Standard haste.
Typically,
Cool,
yes.
cool.
This one, you would roll for it. You roll a d12.
So I could get one round out of it, and the very next following round, just like have to stop because I'm just winded.
Mhm. Or you can get
Okay.
12 rounds, which is the entire combat. Right, which is pretty
I'll
cool.
keep
But
an eye
yeah,
on
the
it for now.
turn that you activated is just a normal turn for you, since you still get the second action, which you would have taken normally, unless you want to use it on someone else.
Mhm.
Got it.
Nah,
Cool.
it's a pretty cool item.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. What else in Waterdeep?
I think that's it.
Do we want to peek behind the curtain, send Bella back into the belly of the beast, and
Oh
talk
yeah,
more?
we have to give an
Just
answer.
feel like, nah, dog.
I mean,
Mhm.
you have a way to give an answer back. They also didn't
Yeah,
give you
I
a
don't
timeline
need
for an
to-
answer.
Did I not mention? I don't need to go back. I have a chip. I just have to like squeeze it twice, and we can talk to them that way. My
Well,
bad.
you've just been walking around with that on you, just taking the word for it that it's not an active bug or tracking device at all times. He's like, yeah, you got to tap it twice for me to hear you. Wink, wink. Cool.
Oh, well, it's not when. I mean, I don't want to be paranoid, but now I am.
It's okay. I threw it in my bag of tricks. That's why I was finding all that stuff that we forgot about from a while back.
That's fair. Okay.
Um,
So we
rattling
should
around
tell
in there
them
like
we're
a
not
weasel.
interested and then smash it.
Hmm.
Yes, it is. And then my father did bring this up. It would be a way of peeking behind the curtain. Waterdeep will go out of its way to save itself before Neverwinter, if they see the odds are stacked against them. I still don't know if this is the right, because once we look, this is what I tell all of. Whenever we have the child pageant, the children's pageant at our theater, and it's snowing and it's beautiful outside, and when they're getting ready and they're looking out and they're looking to see if their parents are in the audience, I assure them they are. If you look out and you see them, they can see you. So I believe it is the same way with this. We will be seen if we look too hard.
I legitimately halfway through your story forgot what it was we were actually referring to because I was just visualizing little kids looking for their parents in a crowd. But
It's
that's
very
yes.
They are
Yes.
they're I love working with it. It is once we return, maybe you can play a part in it. We do have quite a few animal roles.
good. That's
Would be
face.
very exciting. Or not.
Imagining like the
The
nativity
dancing
play
bear.
and like like until like come on as a sheep and then like slowly walk off and then come on as a camel and then slowly back off and then
Incredible.
There's
For
yes.
for Bella's reference, like
Mm.
you don't have to give an immediate answer. There was no timeline established. But if you want to say, "Hey, f off," block them, and then break it, like that's an option.
I would
I
like to
mean-
say F off and see what their response is. Not F
I
off
would
specifically,
not,
but we're
like-
not interested.
I would not like to be unnecessarily rude to
Yeah.
the person who runs the black market and wet works operations in
Yeah.
Deepwater. Thank you.
Also, they were very polite with the offer. He never once threatened. He was never rude at all.
Exactly.
It's a business transaction.
Yeah. And, as a chaotic good guy, like, I don't have any problem with mafia bosses. They got their own thing going on.
Zentarum is not vicious. They're merchants.
Mm,
They'll kill you, but they're not like chaotic about it.
mm,
I mean, they're probably lawful evil. Let's be
Mhm.
fair.
Oh yeah.
mm.
But I would say we tell them no.
That is my feeling as well, but we don't have to move on it.
I would rather not take that coin with us. Maybe that's just me. Unless we feel like we're in the Shadowfell and just be like, hey, we need help.
And then we get it will cost you. And then
Yeah.
like a click.
If you would like to continue the call, please deposit 45 cents.
Please push twice.
So what are we actually saying to the bingo chip?
The bingo chip.
Bingo chip.
I believe we're saying we're not interested. Thank you for the offer.
Okay.
So bad.
Um,
Bingo chip.
Love it.
All right.
Oh,
do you
okay,
do?
if we're all in agreement, then I will do the thing.
Boop, boop.
Boop boop.
Okay. You double click this chip, and you hear after about 5 seconds Mark's voice. He says, "Have you decided?"
Yes. First, we'd love to say thank you for thinking of us and for reaching out with this opportunity. But we have decided to go another direction, and so we are declining the offer. Yes. So, thank you.
Of course. I understand that this offer, well, it does have a timeline, but it's not that limited. If you change your mind, we're here.
That's
Until-
extremely generous of you, and we will keep that in mind. Out of curiosity, does it have to be me who gives you the go ahead?
Well, you said you wanted to consult with your team, so I'll be willing to accept an answer from you, or Odette, or Valen, or Itzel.
Not an intermediary.
Oh, like your friend Yusef?
I mean, as an example, yes.
If you designate him.
Do we want to, like, cupping her hand
Hold,
over the
please.
ship like this? Do we want to designate this so we can leave this here?
I like some of that. Tell Yusuf not to accept unless we tell him so, but leave the chip with him.
Oh, ask if it is. I was going to say ask if this is a two-way chip and it is always active, or how can we
nah,
trust?
he's not
I don't
gonna
think
tell
we'd
us.
answer
Maybe
that if it
yes.
was so.
Yeah, you're right.
You tell me if this was a listening device, right?
If
You
it's a
have to
listening
tell me
device,
if
you
you're
have to tell
not.
us.
It's not
Otherwise, it's entrapment.
There's not a listening device.
I feel like Gray is in the background saying, "I'm sure it's perfectly safe."
Hey, he said he wasn't listening. You can trust that.
If they say they're
An
not listening, they're probably
outstanding guy. Okay, yes, we would like to designate Yusuf as our trusted intermediary as well.
I will inform Miss Nightshade that Mr. Nasiri is also on the designated list.
Thank you. The thanks.
I cast the spell Power of Attorney.
I like it. Okay, cool. And yeah, Yusuf is happy to take the coin or
Just
the
since
chip. You would just say.
Valen was never gonna let me bring that along with us. Just in case we changed our minds.
I'll ask.
Like
Mortimer.
Valen had it on the table with the hammer, like
Yeah,
ah.
nope,
Okay.
nope.
I'll ask Mortimer to take a look at it as well.
That
Cool.
would be wise. We wouldn't want anybody listening in on you.
God, can you imagine if we had just let this guy die in the first session?
I was very clear about the fact that I'm like, look, there's a lot of people here you can save, and they will continue to help you through the game.
This is why we have to save everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah,
Every single person,
like
so we can have them in the final battle.
this is a game of
No,
allies, man.
Everybody lives. The Jim over there, 2 days from retirement. Little Timmy, whose wife is pregnant. Everybody is going home.
It's one of my favorite Doctor Who episodes.
Not so little Timmy anymore. Yeah. Yes.
Sometimes, just sometimes, everybody lives.
Oh, that would have been so much better if we hadn't eventually figured out that was the plot of every fucking episode he ever wrote. Is that everybody lives at the end and there's never any consequences.
Yeah. But the first time he did it,
The first
was really
time
cool.
he did it was great. Yeah.
Mhm. But okay, yeah, Yusuf takes it, and at this point, you guys are packed. You have your car ready to go, right? There's a series of heartfelt exchanges, and not goodbyes, but we'll see you later.
Aw. Bella tries to pretend she's upset about leaving her parents.
Yeah, they come and give you a hug and tell you that they hope you stay safe, right? Of course, Odette and Cole have another moment to themselves where they have a chance to
They have
reconnect.
tea together.
Right.
You have some tea.
Father Stone.
The morning after tea. Yeah, the next morning. Absolutely. As one always does.
Father Stone is out there. Kind of gives you a crisp handshake and says, "Yeah, don't worry. I'm gonna go with you, Seth. I'm gonna help out the council so they can get themselves moving because we got a lot of stuff to do, and they're gonna need as many hands as possible."
That'll be a weight off of my worry.
No, I got things taken care of here.
Valen sits down in the front seat with Gruff in the passenger seat, and he pulls down the driving goggles on both of them.
Itzel, as you are kind of getting loaded up, you see like a shadow kind of go over you, and you look up, and there's like a 17 banana tall hawk that just flies by, circling. There's like a quick like wingtip to you, and you very clearly Delon, right?
I mean, 17 bananas. It better be, or otherwise we're dying.
It's a rock. What the fuck? It's out in the city.
Yeah.
How many washing machines is that?
I was gonna say, that's not a shadow over just me. That's a shadow over like the entire car.
Reagan. Yep. But
some banana shadows. What's going on?
yeah.
I'm picturing us loading up the car and getting in and having it be like a bed knobs and broomsticks moment as like we're sitting in the car and just like
ready to go. Yep. The car itself revs the engine. Nobody hits the accelerator, just revs excitedly.
She's excited to go too. She's been waiting to get back with us for an adventure.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And off we go.
Off we go.
And with one last kind of look around the city.
Eyes on us.
Teleportation occurs. And you are heading to the Undying Realms.
Yay! Let's rock. And I get to go see my class again.
I think we will call it there. Because that's going to get interesting fast.
So. Oh, no.
That's what I like to hear.
Mm-hmm. Good session. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
A
did it.
lot of prep work, but we are ready for it to start rolling.
You have a lot of very valuable information and items.
Yep.
That was good. Yeah, he spent a little time in Waterdeep, but it was necessary.
Did Lady Silverhand ever get back about like? Is there a way to get spirits out of objects?
Oh, for the general, yeah.
Yeah.
She'll have to pass that research
Silverhand.
along just because the timeline.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
Well, he's along
But-
for the ride too, so.
Yeah.
No,
It's fine.
she-
We gave Yosef where to send info to, so he can pass that on.
Mhm.
Is Bonbon coming with us, or did Bonbon stay in Waterdeep with Yusuf to keep eating away at them bad dreams?
It's up to you.
I feel like after almost watching Bonbon die in the fight and realizing that that's probably the only reason Yusuf isn't like falling apart after everything that's happened to him, I think it's better if Bonbon stays with Yusuf.
He
For
needs
the
it more
time
than we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's he's been dealing with some shit, and he's not even the one who died.
Mm-hmm.
No.
No. But he's for a dude who has a lot of reasons to have a lot of traumatic flashbacks for things, he's actually sleeping pretty well. That's nice.
But did we leave Bonbon the bat cloak?
Oh my god!
I mean, I think yes, that's the right answer. But
so
not up to me.
Bonbon, you have to be here and taking care of Yusuf, but the rest of the time you could go be a bat and just find gossip for us around the city.
I have always wanted to fly.
Oh no!
You
I
can
have
hang
to
up-
leave the bat cloak.
You could hang upside down in taverns and just...
Can you imagine the floor being the ceiling or the ceiling being the floor? That's so cool. I
Gun
don't
and gun.
I love Bonbon so much.
All right, so Bonbon has this cloak. That's gonna be fun. Sweet. For real though, as you were going through the Shadowfell, everything you kind of set the NPCs up to do in Neverwinter, they're gonna try to. Waterdeep, they're gonna try to pursue. Right.
Okay.
So I'm gonna make some checks on the back end to see what they're able to glean or set up, and as they're helping the council, they get some advantages on different things because there's a lot of shit they are prepping, right, on the back end, so that when you do show back up, they should be ready to rock on Neverwinter, or die trying, one of the two. But yeah, well done. Everyone's good for the 10th, right? There wasn't a was there a thing or conflict? I can't remember. I think that's actually good. Am I the
What am I
conflict?
doing? It's in my hand.
I'm good for the 10th.
I'm coming back from the beach that day was the only thing I mentioned.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm fine.
Oh,
I'm
look at
good for
that.
the 10th, not the 24th.
2 sessions in a row, baby.
Woo!
We're doing
Let
it.
us go.
Yeah. So, hi, baby. I got a little dizzy here. Come here. Yeah. Come here.
No, I know.
No, big puppy.
Mm.
She's like, this is all I wanted.
Yes. Puppy. Hello, Peach. All right, let's go find someone to raid.
Yeah.
See if I can remember how to do that. On time-ish and under budget, right?
I enjoy the comment of are you wanting to end the stream before all of? No, we want you to be here for all of our inane talk. What are you doing? Also, you got to see a dog, like bonus.
Yeah, let's talk about cool things people have going on.
What else does anyone have going on?
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
I think it's just Joe. Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything cool these days.
Yeah,
Ditto.
I'll say a thing. Hi,
Go
Go
for it.
for it.
I'm Joe Gates. I live in Philadelphia. And what we say it here. If you are interested in seeing some spooky live improv comedy, you
Always.
should follow me at the Comedy Showgates or at Comedy Showgates on Instagram. And it's usually I'll be posting stuff about this, but come October and also November and also December and also January. It's a relatively long run. The first and second Friday of each month, I will be performing the Incantation improv
Ooh.
form at Comedy Sports. That's right in
Mm.
Rittenhouse Square. Yeah, right around there, right across from Helium. You know the place. But if you don't, then like just follow me on Comedy Showgate, and I'll give you the deets. And you should definitely come to at least one of them. Maybe the Friday the 13th show. That's extra spooky because
The spookiest.
it's the spookiest. But it should be really fun. There are a number of just extra super awesome talented people in the improv group. There's people with dance backgrounds. There's people with like clowning backgrounds. Not that kind of clowning, but like comedia clowning. It's going to be an amazing group, and the director is pretty awesome too. So, and I'll be there too.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yay.
But
One
get
other
really
thing.
One other thing.
If you have ever desired to meet some of the LFTA cast members in person, many of us are going to be at the Maryland Renaissance Festival next Sunday. If
Sunday,
you recognize
Sunday.
anybody, call out, you win a prize! The prize is a crisp high five.
aim for the elbow. So
Yes.
Doing autograph signings from 1 to 3. They are $100 each, but they all go to charity. No, that is entirely untrue. However, yeah, a lot of us will be at the Ren Fair. Come by, drink a beer, hang out, right? If you want more info, our Discord link is in the chat, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be talked about in there at some point. Or you can just ping the Discord and be like, yo, anyone at the Ren Fair? And hopefully people are checking their phones. So, but yeah, should be a good time. Well, with that said, I'm going to see if I remember how to raid people. And I learned this lesson last time. I'm going to hit the thanks for watching button first. And I'm going to go raid Josh and you, who's playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now.
Very nice.
Heard a lot of good things about it. Hang out, throw them a follow, and say a nice thing, make someone's day, right? Anyway, that's it for us. So we'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a good night.
Yay.
Thanks for watching.